What's going on, everybody? Mike here, coming to you with our final holiday edition of Fly Casual. This week is our final retrospective as we look back to our review of the film that, well, most of us are still talking about a year later, The Last Jedi. Originally aired as episode 165 of the Fly Casual podcast on December 19th, 2017. Your hosts give their raw, unfiltered, and maybe even surprising reactions to the controversial film by director Rian Johnson. We hope you enjoy our final holiday episode of Fly Casual.
Let's get ready to wrinkle!
What is up, crack hoes and crackheads?
Hey,
what's
up,
yeah,
yellow?
Time
I like
to
crack.
Bust some skulls because we are here to talk about none other than The Last Jedi. Woo! You get a headache. You get an awkward moment. You get a poorly edited joke. Everybody wins something with The Last Jedi.
Keep going. There you go. Yeah. All right. There we go.
I'm impressed.
That's right.
There you go.
That's right.
Yeah.
If you manage to survive that audio barrage, maybe you'll stick around for what's to come.
What? Uh-oh.
Oh.
Hey, folks, I'm your host, Mr. Corey T. Wilson, and with me right here on the left, live and in the flesh, Mr. Garrick, not Jay Hardy.
Hey, I was promised there would be butt kissing in this episode. I'm let down. I came all the way up here for butt kissing.
Yep.
No, I can't have it.
Nope, that's what Twitter is for.
Okay.
I'll kiss your butt.
Thanks. See, Howie's got my butt.
Yeah, that's right.
No, none of you guys got my butt. Howie does.
I don't want your butt.
Yeah, you do.
No,
You really do, Corey.
There have been times. There have been
How many
times.
baby dolls you
Over
find
there.
up there?
Over there, playing with toys and looking half drunk and half asleep was Mr. Michael J. Archibald.
Okay, you mentioned that this was, our seemingly annual get-together to review Star Wars movies.
Oh, yeah.
This is the last time we're going to get to do that, right?
Well, I know, because we have to do it again in 5 months.
And we have a release date for Ep 9, buddy.
Yeah?
Yeah, and it is not Christmas.
This is not
Yet.
news. We're not doing news, Mike.
Yet.
Let's all stop and look at me while I'm trying to do hand motions.
I don't know
You
what-
guys are
saying
liquid.
He's
I'm
saying
telling
that too
Petrie,
loud. Too
Petrie,
loud.
turn my headphones down,
Too loud.
Oh, that.
please. If
I
you
don't
can figure
know.
out which one I
I
am.
only know the Air Force
He's
hand
like,
signals.
Mike is killing me.
No idea.
Please turn him down.
That so far sounds better. Thank you.
Yeah, oh, there we go.
I guessed right on the
I
first
think that was
try.
mine, but all right.
Well, we'll see if Mike blasts my ears off again.
Well,
over there
shit.
at master control, except for the fact that he's not master controlling our headphone volume, as Mr. Stephen J. Howie.
Yeah, you can control your own damn volume.
I can't.
Aw,
it's all the
snap.
way down there. I have to have Petrie control my own
Aw,
damn
snap.
volume.
And I am not up to the challenge
Speaking
of that
of
pressure.
which, there's Mr. Stephen Petrie.
Hey, I'm not up to the challenge of that pressure.
Yeah?
Yep.
I'm draped right over the cough drops there, Mike. That's me.
Copter.
Oh, test.
I got you, buddy.
All right,
there you
a little
go.
more maybe. A little less, a little more volume lessness.
Less more is less.
Still
less.
less,
Is more.
still more or less, please. I would say
Still
more or less.
Okay.
More or less. There, you're in the neighborhood.
All right.
More
Hey,
or
we're
less.
dialed
I'm
in.
still not sure you've adjusted me at all whatsoever.
This is some pro
I'm gonna
level
be honest with
podcasting
you.
right here.
I'm
Pro
gonna be honest with you.
level.
Come on, bring it in, Mike. Give me good.
I think some people
Good.
just don't
Oh
wanna-
my gosh, Mike, you turned me way the frick up. Turn it back down. You son of a... Okay, that is
think
much better.
People are just trying to avoid the next
Oh
few
my gosh.
conversations, the next hour.
On the air in Cincinnati.
Miss Stephen Petrie, did you say a thing?
Probably.
Mike, turn me back up a little bit. I can't help myself. Yeah. Yeah?
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get it.
And over here, riding dirty in the hot seat is Mr. Josh
You'll never
Hancock.
catch him.
Hello, world.
The
He
anticipation
said the thing.
to say that.
He was swiveling, like swivel
Oh, yeah.
hipping his butt
He
like
was.
a cocker spaniel who, like, grandma
He's still
just walked
grinning
in.
ear to ear.
I
Yeah.
wish we'd periscoped it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah.
get the little
Like-
Josh Hello World butt
He
wiggle.
looked like Christopher Waltz.
I get
Inglourious
Waltz.
Basterds.
Walton, yeah.
Yeah,
Christopher
Christopher
Waltz.
Waltz, that guy's a thing.
I have so little
In-
joy in my life, and you
Never
guys
mind.
just want to shit all over it.
Yep, more or less.
Can't
No, man.
That's what I live
You
for.
can say your tagline. It's all good, man.
Yeah.
I only do that when you're not here.
You still have some
Shiny,
joy.
happy people
Just
here.
because it
That's the
sucks,
problem.
we don't care.
Dag.
Aw.
Garrick's all up on you like fans on The Last Jedi, am I right?
Oh.
Yeah.
Did that just happen?
Oh, gentlemen,
What?
since it is The Last Jedi spoiler cast and it's time to let it all fly, what the hell did we just watch?
Last Jedi.
Okay.
Yeah, we did.
All right, wrap it up. Cue the music.
Yep.
The movie.
See you later.
We're out. Okay.
Oh, we're not really.
Everything you just said was
No.
not true.
No, get up on that mic, boy.
Yeah.
All right. So how do you want to do this, man? You just want to jump right in, baby, or do you want to give?
I think we should do it like a crystal critter runs through a cave.
Hey, crystal critters.
Yeah.
Through
You
the
know what?
small
If
holes.
I can't make a hand motion at somebody, if it's going to stop everything, I'm going to stop caring. I'm not hand motioning anybody anymore. Every time I make a hand motion, which in a podcast is a clear way of saying, I don't want to interrupt the podcast, but give me your fucking attention.
Yeah.
And everybody just goes silent and stares at me. That's pro level shite right there. Welcome. Good job, ladies and gentlemen.
I was.
Staring.
I just didn't have a lot to say. I was just done.
Yeah, that's
He's
fine.
done.
Yeah.
See what happens when my attention is attracted. Josh, if you can't hear anything, you might want to try to bump your headphones up on the red cable.
My attention span is pretty short.
There.
No, he's shaking his head. No, he's good.
Okay, good, good.
Are we all dialed in?
Yeah, everybody, we're ready to do this.
All right, cue the music.
I just
All
can't
right.
hear myself,
Are we
but
recording?
that's fine.
Hey, everybody. My name is The Bracker. We're here to talk about The Last Jedi. Fly casual stuff. Woo!
I'm a Jedi.
Yeah.
Get ready to wrinkle!
We should do that thing that we do. All right, fast forward. Hey, everybody, it's podcast Last Jedi. Don't be sensitive. Time to go.
We're all here.
It sounds like we've been drinking.
I have.
I've barely had anything at all. I'm
That's
just.
the only way I'm coping right now.
Oh no.
I just took some Tylenol. Does that count?
Yes.
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 That counts.
Yep. It still does damage to
I'm
your
gonna
liver,
fiddle
just
with
like
these
alcohol.
buttons all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, just not number 2.
Don't mess with number 2. You know that's
You have to
danger.
do number
Yeah.
2.
That danger business.
Look out
over
for
there.
number 1, but don't step in number 2.
That's true.
It's pretty-
Speaking of stepping in number 2,
wow.
Oh.
Wow, back to that.
Transition.
Huh?
I know we've got fans dialing in, wondering. Like, we've got fans who really loved the movie, who are wanting to know how bad are we going to trash on it.
All right. Let's start. Let's
No, how
start
bad
this
you
way,
guys
man.
want to trash on it.
Let's start this way. Do you want to just do a roundtable real quick and get kind of a general like rating and where we place it in our list?
In the list of 8,
Oh, man.
of
Yeah,
the
can't
8
do
or
that.
9, are we
9.
including Rogue One?
Yeah, let's include Rogue One.
On the list of 9 Star Wars movies that have been released to date, other than the Clone Wars movie, which does not
No. That does not
that
count.
does not count.
No.
Oh,
What
there.
about
Where
the
does it
Ewoks
fall?
Movies?
Okay.
Ewoks movies?
No Ewoks movies. No, just
Caravan of Courage?
the major. No Caravan of Courage.
Let's start there and then ease our way into this.
Okay,
What do you think, man?
me.
I'm asking. You guys cool with that?
This is.
Let's give our general first impression, then we'll talk positives and negatives.
Well,
How
I
about
thought we were
that?
just going to rank it. Go around table and rank
Yeah.
it. And out of 9 major theatrical
Yes.
releases,
Right.
where does this fall?
Yep.
Number 5.
Number 5.
No.
Corey's at number
Oh, we're
5.
counting down 5 to
Wait, 5 or 6? Number 5 or 6
Okay.
for me.
episode 5?
Let me ask
No.
you this: does it rank higher than Force Awakens or lower than Force Awakens?
I can't tell yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why it's a 5 or 6.
See, I'm in the exact same spot right now because mine are right. It's smack dab in the middle. Mm-hmm. My initial reaction walking out of the theater was that I liked it slightly better than Force Awakens, but I'm still processing.
Yep.
I don't know that's going to land there or not.
Yep. What about you, Garrick? Where does it fall?
Yeah, that's about right. I mean, I obviously we've all only seen it once.
That was wonderful.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking that big
It's like
drink
the
while I was
Coca-Cola commercial at the beginning of a movie. It just makes you thirsty and enhances
thirsty,
the experience.
Yeah.
talking. It's enhancing
Those
everything.
bubbles.
There it is.
That's amazing.
You got to go open one and pour it now.
That's true.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I hate to say ditto, but yeah, ditto. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm
We
going
still
to have
haven't
to see it
gotten
a few
worse than the
times.
prequels, and that's a
Yeah,
good thing.
No.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
Petrie.
I'm falling 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Howie.
This is a 5, definitely above Force Awakens.
Okay.
Wow.
Boys.
Okay.
And
I'm following the train here, and you know, unfortunately, it might be because I've been hanging out with you guys and we've been talking about this movie so much that might be kind of soiling my vision a little bit, but yeah, I'm in
That's
that.
what we do. We
I'm
soil
in that
things.
5 or 6 range
Yeah.
right now, but we'll
so,
see.
Petrie, you
Wow.
being in the 4 or 5 range,
Yeah.
what movie's getting bumped down other than the original trilogy? Is it Rogue One?
No.
Or Force Awakens?
It's Force Awakens.
Force Awakens. So that would put it at 5.
Yeah.
What? So is Rogue One better?
Well, it's for me. You're asking for my ranking.
Yeah.
1 through 9. Okay. Well, we're gonna go Empire.
Yeah.
Then I think.
Oh
Rogue-
wow, we're going to take the whole ride here. All right, everybody, we're putting it in cruise control.
I
Kids,
thought
get out
that's
your
what
Game
you were
Boys.
asking for.
Okay, no, just where does it fall? And then because you placed it differently than the rest, I was asking what fell under it. Because we all kind of are in the. It's either above, like right at Force Awakens, somewhere
Oh,
in
it's
there.
above Force Awakens.
It's above
for me.
Force Awakens. That
Yeah.
puts it at 5. So if you have it at 4, what else falls below it? You got the OT trilogy and Rogue One, I'm assuming. That's 4 right there. So which one falls below it if it's going to take the 4 slot?
Maybe I don't know. Maybe Jedi.
Really?
Maybe.
Oh, man.
Jedi.
Wow.
Maybe it's early. It's
Bold
early.
words.
Them's fighting words for Howie.
Bold
Oh,
words.
yeah.
Yeah.
He loves those
It
space
is.
bears.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's
Petrie
we're
doesn't
all
know what's
kind of
going
in
on.
the same neighborhood then in terms of where this movie falls.
Yeah.
Now, it wouldn't sound the same if we'd also just seen Rogue One for the first time yesterday, where at least half of us were all lollipops and rainbows after Rogue One, and then it kind of the shiny edges rubbed off and stuff like that.
Oh, I don't know. Rogue One is still way up there for me. I don't think I've lost its luster at all.
But you're one.
Force Awakens.
You're the one who didn't like Rogue One, or no, Rogue One. I'm sorry, I meant Force Awakens.
Force Awakens. okay.
Force Awakens
Now-
lost its
now-
luster.
Yes.
For me,
Correct.
honestly, right now where I'm sitting is OT, or original trilogy.
Yep.
Rogue One.
Yep.
And then Force Awakens and Last Jedi are somewhere sitting in a neighborhood that is really, really more urban,
Yeah.
and there's some high crime. A
Just
lot
few
of
blocks down.
late night police calls. Yeah, they've closed off a lot of the streets so that they
Right.
can't have high speed chases. It's pretty much RoboCop Detroit. I'm just saying.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's so it sounds like everybody's pretty much and generally from friends and people that have seen it, that's coming in on Twitter, that's where people seem to generally be putting it. It's kind of smack dab in the middle.
Yeah.
So let's go around the table now. Let's talk about the positives. Let's get the positives out. What do you say?
I don't.
Do we want to end on the negatives?
Oh, I'm
There's a lot
sure
more-
we'll do some sort of
there's a
apologist
lot-
nonsense at the
There's
end.
a lot more to talk about.
Can
on
we
the
do
negative
neutral
side.
after that just to keep the theme of balance like in the movie?
It certainly
We'll do-
was
we'll
a
do
film
the
that was
good,
released.
the bad, and then the balance middle.
There were end credits.
There was a text crawl.
I like
Right.
the Carrie
So
Fisher
everybody-
in memoriam.
That's a
thing.
positive now. Text crawls are positive.
Right.
I mean, everybody had to have a favorite moment. So Corey, what was yours, man?
Oh man. This was I put the ice in my mouth. This is revenge for every other podcast.
That's right.
Yeah, maybe not
Swallow
ice
it.
on a podcast.
Swallow it.
Is the theme.
It's so good though, Howie. Oh, so good.
Swallow it.
Not for the listeners.
Think about the listeners.
The highlight for me, one of the biggest highlights for me was
No,
when we
biggest scene, favorite scene, not highlight. Come on, man.
I'm gonna come over there. Was the asteroid chase music playing while Falcon was getting chased by TIE fighters through the caverns?
Yeah.
When I heard the asteroid chase theme, I audibly yelled out in
Yeah,
joy.
you were pretty.
You did, yeah.
that was a joygasm for you. There was a lot of themes from the old music, and we talked about this earlier. I'm questioning whether John Williams did this film or not.
like
Originally,
he
in
just
the
kind of
beginning,
did it
Technically, he
in
did.
voice, but if someone else actually did most of the
the
work.
conducting and writing to the Phil Gap stuff,
Because this borrowed more of the old Star Wars
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
than literally any other
Oh,
movie
yeah.
has
Oh, yeah.
done.
Yeah.
And thank God for that. That's what I've been begging for
Yeah.
since episode 1.
The Leia theme. Oh, man.
that gets me every
Wow.
time,
Yeah.
especially now. But
Mhm, the Twin Sons music
Yeah.
there.
Oh, yeah.
pretty
At
cool.
the
That was,
end.
they were generous with that one, too.
did you guys? Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was Luke seeing a vision. Right?
Yeah, no, it was Luke looking at the Suns at the
Yeah.
end. Yeah.
Right, but it had to be a vision because
and gentlemen, John Williams and the London Symphony Orchestra.
Okay, Chris, take it easy.
That's,
Okay,
that's
so-
Mr. Green to you.
Right.
So a lot of people don't like this, but I'm just gonna say it because it was one of my favorites. Seeing Leia during the scene where she was sucked out into space, and I got for the first time see Leia use the Force in a physical way
Yeah. That was,
and pull herself back to the ship. I know some people thought it looked a little awkward and things like that, but
Don't speak for me.
I didn't say anything about you, buddy.
He said some people, Corey.
All right.
I'm just saying, for me, that was a highlight. That gave me the chills.
Right. If you want to see Leia as depicted by Michelangelo on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel, flying through space, as if also, conjuring up the visions of Sandy Duncan in green tights flying over a stage.
There it is.
Then sure, that was awesome.
Duncan.
Now, what I will say is this. Although I feel like that was the dumbest looking thing I've ever seen, I would rather have it than not have it, because I agree with you. It was so huge to see Leia do something awesome that was more important than how freaking awkward it looked by far.
It may have looked awkward, but I liked it too, because to me it was a little unexpected, because everybody's been wondering, okay, how are they going to treat Leia? Carrie Fisher's dead, so how do you treat her in this movie?
Answer: none.
Yeah. Well,
none.
But
spoilers.
At that point, you thought, okay, this is how they're going to.
This is it. Wow, this is early.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's like, oh wow, they just did it.
They
early
only, 3 or 4 times. They're like, oh, we're killing Leia right now. Nope, everything's
so
fine.
When I saw the finger twitch, I'm like, oh, sweet man.
Yeah.
So that was a highlight for me. I know a lot of people that I've talked to thought that was kind of dumb, but that was the feel goods for me.
But then she took the second star to the right and straight on till morning until she was back in
Like
the
Peter
ship
Pan.
again.
Right there it is.
I get that reference.
Yep. Now you got it.
I get all the Peter Pan.
Yep,
Sorry
and then
to
they had
skip
then
over
they
you,
had to
Garrett.
they had to drug her up and stick her in the bed, so they gave her a roofie. Oh,
That's Hook, though. That's not Peter Pan.
shut up,
I'm just saying.
shut up.
Your face.
What about you, Garrick? Highlight,
Yeah.
favorite scene.
My favorite scene, probably maybe a lot of people's, but the scene where Vice Admiral Holdo puts the Corellian or I don't know, the ship.
It was
into,
her capital ship.
Capital ship. Yeah, thanks. It's late and I can't think of words.
Mon Cal
I can't
type
word.
ship. Yes,
But she puts it into hyperspace and just slams into the First Order fleet, and it's not the scene, but the fact that they use silence to do it, like.
Oh,
That was pretty
I think
powerful. Yeah.
silence can be very powerful.
Yeah.
And in Star Wars, it's always run, music, run, action. Just to have that, I think that's one of the bold risks that Rian Johnson did that actually paid off, I think, really well. Because I think it might be one of my favorite scenes ever in Star Wars.
That was pretty
amazing.
good. That was pretty amazing.
And just sitting in a theater just full of people, and it's just dead silent and no one is saying anything. Because
we did. We had somebody yell, "Ha! Whoa!" There was just some random dude.
That was you.
No, it wasn't me.
I mean,
Admit it.
there was some there was some sudden gas at the beginning when the silence just first hit, but after that it was just like dead silence.
Yeah, it's like because it started to turn around. Poe gives you that indication that no, she's not running.
No, she's not running.
And she's turning around, and I, my initial thought, oh, she's just going to ram it. But then I was like, oh, this could be kind of like Rogue One.
And I was thinking she was going to put herself in between them and take the fire.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was
Right.
like, oh, she's going to turn it sideways or whatever.
But yeah, to put that in hyper, I'm like, oh no, oh,
she's doing it.
That was pretty smooth.
She hit it going pretty fast.
you can refer to that ship as Home One.
Home
for now.
One. Okay.
No one will correct you yet.
It's Home One. When she
I'm sorry. Have
up
you
Home
met the
One.
internet?
That was Home 7.
Anything we get wrong, we get called out on with like vitriol.
Yeah.
And thank goodness.
Yeah. God bless those
I
people.
love getting called out. It's my favorite.
Yeah. Howie, favorite scene?
But I'm sitting here trying to think of one.
Say it.
Because you had just so
Say it
many
out.
Well,
favorites.
You know which one.
I honestly don't know.
You liked it when Ray was doing the Addams Family theme down in the cave. Da-da-da-da. Snap, 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 snap. Da-da-da-da. Snap, 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 snap.
Come on, man.
Honestly, I think it's Yoda and lightning down on a tree.
Yep.
That's a good pick.
Yep.
I don't
Yoda
know,
done
but that's-
decorated it for Christmas.
Yeah.
Yoda, I mean, we
having
had-
Yoda come back and do what he did. That to me, that whole scene was.
We
I loved.
had suspected the whole time that we were going to get a Yoda scene, and I thought it was pretty well done. It was the puppet.
It was
That was
a
interesting.
puppet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was also a strong scene for Luke.
One of the
Yeah.
stronger scenes, yeah.
Right, yeah.
That's where he got set straight.
Yep.
No.
And also where Yoda totally pulled the wool over Luke's eyes and was lying to him. But we'll
Totally,
talk
yeah.
about that
Yeah, right.
a little
yeah,
more
we'll get
later
there.
because there are potentially a lot of viewers who didn't
catch
pick
some
up on
things.
that.
Yeah, I didn't.
And I'm not even sure it was intentional because that's how little I trust the filmmakers these days. Petrie, you?
Burn.
My favorite thing I think out of this was the development of Poe as a character.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh,
agree.
man.
He's gone from
Agreed.
tertiary
That's not a
or
scene.
just.
That is not a scene.
That is not a scene. Respect the game.
Oh, I'm
He's
sorry.
got a point.
I'll accept it.
I'll
No,
come
I don't
on.
accept it.
Oh, fine. Then porgs.
Then it's Kumite.
Chewie's porg eating.
Yeah.
That's not a scene either.
Chewie's porg
How
scene.
is that not a scene?
You know what?
Porgs is a species, not a scene.
Porks is
You're a
multiple
species.
scenes.
I was pretty.
jeez.
And we'll get into the critiques, but I was a little
Critiques,
disappointed
that's
in how ham-fisted some of the jokes were. But
We'll get there.
Chewie getting ready to eat the pork,
That was brilliant
and that little
because
thing
we all
looking up
joked
at
about
us.
it.
so
We all
weird.
joked about that.
Yeah, it was so weird.
It was
like,
real weird.
Each
And I'm
porg
still
flew
not-
off like it was popping up in the air like some weird dark crystal puppet, which is what they were, and
I
it
love
was
that
so weird looking. But yes, I also liked it. You know, at least it wasn't an awkward joke. It was a scene. It's like, here we are. This is happening. Strap in. We have emotional porg cannibalism issues, and you're going to have to sit and watch.
Are you
and
calling Chewie a porg?
I am. He's one big hairy porg. But but yeah, you had to sit and just get in with it, and that's fine. It's better than an awkward line that just lingers too long. But you know, we're talking about positives. Josh,
Are we?
This has actually been a really healing moment for me because
Here we go.
we're going to get some more ice.
actually,
Hey, Josh has a talking stick. Be quiet.
when you ask me to just name a scene that I really like, I realize that there are a lot of moments in this film that I really, really loved. So that's actually helpful for me. I think the scene that I'm going to go with is whenever Luke and Rey are back to back. There are things that I'll critique about that battle, but whenever I finally see them back to back getting ready to be on the same team, I got a lot of chills.
Luke and Ray.
I'm sorry, Kylo and
I
Rey.
was going to
Okay.
say, when did Luke and
I
Ray,
took a bathroom
what?
break. I don't remember.
I just
That would have been awesome.
I just effed up that whole moment.
You ruined the whole movie for
That's
me,
all right.
Josh.
Your flubbing was really healing
Spoilers.
for me.
Whenever Kylo and Rey are back to back getting ready to be on the same team and enter that battle, I got crazy chills because that was a huge thing that I wanted to see in this movie. And I got really excited that I was going to be able to see, hopefully, the direction that I thought it was going to go.
Yeah.
And it didn't let down. Like, there was cool teamwork. They were on the same team.
That's
You
teamwork.
know, leading up to it, even just like them touching fingers and weird stuff like that.
Sexy.
I dug everything that was them having
Yeah.
a connection.
I mean,
Yeah, the
they're-
scene between the two reversals, one what undid the other, was pretty great. But
I
that's
think
a negative. We're not talking about negatives right now.
The whole back and forth between Rey and Kylo. I
That's
think
not
was-
a scene.
Yes.
That was
Yeah, respect the game.
that was. I already had my turn.
Yeah,
I'm
game
interjecting
over.
like
Taking
everybody
two
else.
turns.
Game over, man. Game over.
Well, there's more positives than
I
just
think that
one
was.
scene.
I think that was a great part of the
Agreed. I mean, their development as characters in this film
Was
I mean,
almost really
there was
good.
That
Yeah.
it was really good.
not,
Yeah,
not
almost,
quite
yeah.
where I thought it was going to
I thought
land.
Kylo was amazing.
Guys.
but still, I love their development.
all
Those,
our positives still sound negative.
Yep.
You know, all your
That's Corey's
positives
fault.
sound negative.
No, I can make your
No.
positive sound pretty negative. Don't
Said
worry
I
about
like
it.
Poe.
Yeah.
It was going in a great direction, wasn't it? With the two of them, wasn't it?
I still think it was
yeah.
great.
There's still a chance.
I know we're right back at square zero as far
so
as I'm
we're
concerned.
expressing
I like.
distaste in the fact that that she is supposedly from pauper family.
No,
That-
I'm just talking about the fact that when we're talking about the growth of them as a characters, I'm not sure at the end where we are that is different from the beginning.
I see
We're
what you're
not.
saying. All of the growth that happened throughout
Was
the film,
kind of undid.
somebody hit
undone.
Control-Alt-Delete at the end.
Yeah, task
Oh,
manager,
I don't know that I agree with
task manager, right out
Control
of that.
Z. Control
yeah, no,
Z.
we
Control
don't
Z.
agree with
learned,
that.
Yeah, I was going to say we learned stuff about them.
Oh, we did?
I'm not talking about learning anything about them. I'm talking about their growth as characters. They're,
And me too.
Yeah.
I think that. Well, you're right.
the big thing we were being baited with was a non-thing.
Okay, and what you're referring to was the rumor that was going around for a while that they were going to team up, not just team up, but that Rey was going to reject Luke and that Kylo was going to reject Snoke, and they were going to actually like go off and trudge their own trail.
That happened for approximately 2.5 minutes.
Yes. Right.
Oh, that was like
You're
5
right.
minutes.
It's not a
So-
rumor. It's what happened in the movie,
I
and then it did a full
You're right.
protonic
what I'm
reversal.
saying is I
Yeah.
was bagging on you, and I'm backing off that and agreeing. You're right. You're absolutely right. That was the disappointing part of that because I thought that traveling that line of gray and kind of undoing the Force. I mean, because they've done away with the Jedi and they've done away with the Sith, and
I'm sorry, I disagree with all of you. You're talking about growth as characters. Here you have a whiny ass little helmet wearing little prick coming into his own.
I thought we were talking about Ray for a minute. She only wore the helmet in one
No.
scene.
That was like one scene.
And she was eating her muffin.
But now,
okay?
now all of a
Calling her
sudden
prick
he's
is really
he's
insensitive.
taking leadership, albeit he's inexperienced really. But instead of trying to follow Snoke, he's like I'm leading, and this is even bash Hux against the wall.
Instead of being a whiny little prick, he easily defeated his mentor, and now is just a Super Saiyan
come on
whiny
now.
prick.
He turned into a rage monster.
He's just super whiny.
Every
Look at him
time I'm
yelling,
trying to say
your
something
guns!"
that I feel positive about, it's always beat down.
Oh, you're right. All right. The rest of it's Howie's opinions uncontested.
Corey's allowed to have a different opinion.
I agree with Howie, though.
I agree with Howie.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Here you go, Howie.
That's fine.
And we had the same thing with Rey, but in the different direction. She's now, instead of being, I don't know what
She's
to do,
the
it's
one-
like, no,
She's a little more resolute. Yeah.
they're both.
I think they were both resolute because they basically took their mentors' places. I mean,
I guess.
that was the unexpected thing for me. But yeah, Kylo's supreme leader now. But back to what you were saying with the books and everything.
And Rey at some point might find out that she's the only Jedi potentially left, but she doesn't even know that yet. Except she felt him go.
But
She's not though.
But
'cause
you've
Leia.
said no. But you've said basically we learned that Luke was just going to commit suicide the whole time, and that Rey stole the books, and that she's going to carry on the mantle.
Yeah.
So-
Whoa. How many people in the audience do you think realize that the books were stolen?
I didn't
You guys
until
want
you
to
said
talk?
it.
You want to talk about this? Let's get it out there.
Yeah. I wanted to save it for later initially, but it's come up twice already.
Let's do it.
Okay.
On the Millennium Falcon, toward the end of the movie, Finn goes to get a blanket for his new
Rose.
his new girlfriend, who totally made an inappropriate sexual advance on him without asking permission first. Me too, and or Finn too. And
Hashtag.
so anyway, he went to get a blanket out of the drawer, opened up the drawer, and the camera lingered for a moment, and people may not have noticed. Oh, guess what? Those are the Jedi texts right there that were in the tree. Rey stole them, which I pointed out after the movie. So Yoda
Not only did
Rey steal them, but Yoda was pretty much trying to keep Luke from finding out, because when Luke went to burn them, Yoda just went, "No, psych, tree's on fire, don't go in, everything's cool."
Haha, sucker.
Yeah. Yoda struck the tree with lightning just as Luke was getting ready to go in and torch the books that weren't there. Meaning Yoda was like, "Oh, no, son. She told me,
this is me, man. This is me.
No, it's good. Hey, let's go out. Let's get some brews, right? You don't even want to go in there. Like, there's nothing in there. You know what I'm saying?"
Do you remember the quote that Yoda said after that?
No.
He was like, she already has everything that she needs to be a Jedi.
Yeah,
it's
right,
all,
to
it's
move
all,
on,
it's,
and right.
yeah. And in that moment, you're like, oh yeah, it's all within her.
And
This
now,
is amazing.
he wasn't being metaphorical. He was
she
being
got the
literal.
books.
So since our hero Luke Skywalker committed forced suicide at the end of the film, are we to believe that as soon as he crossed over, he knew what really would happen? He's like, "What the hell, Yoda?"
And Yoda just laughed.
Fooled you, sucker! I did.
Which Force Ghost do you think he'll be? Old Luke or young Luke?
Fetus Luke.
Or middle-aged Luke.
Oh, yeah, middle age.
Yeah,
Those were good times.
Maybe they can bring back CGI Jake Lloyd and. Oh wait, no, that's Anakin.
Yeah,
They still can.
de-aging throughout
Yes.
the lifespan in the Force. Yeah, so that I think is a bigger implication that I've said I'm not even confident that the filmmakers know what they did, which is by having Yoda strike the tree and catch it on fire before Luke can go in, that Yoda, in a way, it seems pretty clear that if you notice both of those things, that the books were already stolen, that Yoda is trying to keep Luke from finding out that she stole the books. Like, it seems like Yoda was totally like, "Oh no, don't go in there, son."
Yeah, it does.
It really does, and I don't know that the filmmakers even know that they communicated
I don't know.
that.
It could be part of the story.
It could be, just like everything else
Well-
in these two movies have had such complex twists and turns.
Right. Which kind of gets into some of the critiques now. And I mean, to me, it was disappointing after seeing this movie now to really realize the lack of continuity among everything. We were starting to see this.
Well, I was turning to you during the movie and like making the what the hell hand signal, and you literally were going the I don't effing know hand signal right back.
Yeah.
Right. You know, we kind of got hints of this with the new canon and stuff, because we were just like, man, some of this just really isn't for Disney and them supposedly having people in charge of continuity and all this stuff.
We're going to do it better this time.
It really wasn't matching up. And now after seeing Ep 8, I'm like, wow,
They don't know
all
what
these
they're
supposed
doing.
meetings between JJ and Ryan and all that stuff. Yeah, no.
If anybody actually knows what the hell's going on, they don't have
No.
any teeth. They don't have any authority because it seems like nobody knows what the hell's going on.
I mean, I would say it seemed like more than half of this movie was Rian Johnson undoing what JJ had done in The Force Awakens.
which is what we're hearing.
And can I add
quite
to
a bit of
that?
sentiment?
He was undoing what JJ had done, but also forgetting what he had already done.
Yeah. Explain though.
Explain.
For example.
Porgs.
I mean, the easy one's what we were talking about earlier, right? With the Knights of Ren and the whole dream sequence.
Yeah, that's
about
one.
Burning down the temple. I mean,
Right.
that's an easy one,
yeah.
right?
I still don't. I don't know that I buy that because Knights of Ren was never officially a thing.
Okay, well, let's get it
man,
out. Let's
it
get
is
it out there,
dropping.
and so people know what we're talking about.
I had another example.
Okay, well, go ahead.
No,
Before
yeah,
I
go
forget, when Luke goes to train Rey, and he's like, "Okay, well, you're gonna get 3 lessons." It's a weird number. I thought his training was a lot longer on Dagobah,
Everything
but
comes
she
in
gets
threes.
3. So
Yeah.
It's a magic number.
lesson 1, it didn't go well,
Yep.
and he's like, "Man,
Oh, I know better to be afraid now.
Yeah.
I was totally not afraid enough, and now, no, I'm storming out.
that place is pure dag nasty dark side, and it
you
showed
went-
you what you wanted, and you went straight there, and I'm afraid of
And
you."
your power is all scary, and I'm not going to give you any part of this, Dewey.
I liked when he
Right.
slapped her with that leaf.
So
that was funny.
I'm Luke, and I'm out of here.
I'm out of here.
Okay, lesson 2.
I'm going to dip my balls in it.
Yeah.
That was lesson 2.
Yeah.
Literally, like, woke
missed
up the
that
next
part.
day and goes, what's yesterday? Today's a bright new day. Let's get back to that thing I said. Yeah. Yeah. It was one of those things where he kind of set it up, then made this big impactful thing that apparently meant nothing 5 minutes later.
Right.
I agree. So there were those problems. Like the story kept taking turns, and then like it would make a U-turn and then another U-turn.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing we said with Kylo and Rey. They get there. Hey, oh, now we're pals now. Oh, but now we're not again. Run away. Right. Like there was a lot of that. It wasn't just a right turn. It was a complete turnaround and then a complete turnaround again. Like a 180 and a 180 and going back the same direction. You're like, what was the point? Why did we do that? But to Mike's point, yeah, all the stuff from The Force Awakens, the biggest questions that the fans were going in with, popularly were who is Snoke and who are Rey's parents. Right. And the movie literally said Snoke is meat chunks and Rey's parents don't matter, so go F yourselves.
Yeah. Right.
Very clearly said, go F yourself. The stuff you're hung up on doesn't matter, which feels like Rian Johnson going, why are you so obsessed with the crap from that first film? But
yeah, it kind of does. I don't know. I'm now JJ could go back in 9 and revisit all that stuff,
which is going to be real great doing another about face.
Yeah, I know. That's right. I
got
agree.
whiplash already.
I agree.
Got whiplash.
Well, that's another issue I had. Is those words were said. Your parents were paupers. They sold you for booze money. They did. And
then immediately is everybody's like, well, it's Kylo Ren. He could be lying.
Well,
we've had so much depth.
It doesn't matter about the lying. They spent a big chunk of that movie with subtext between the Force connection between him and Rey and Luke and Leia, the sibling Force connection. I believe that Kylo and Rey are absolutely siblings.
No, yeah, you're still there.
Yeah, I'm still there.
So you don't believe Snoke when
First of
Snoke
all-
said that he was the one responsible for creating a link between Rey and
is
Kylo?
Snoke? Was
Don't
that a
know.
Meat
character?
chunks, but
Is that
Yeah,
a character
he's
that matters?
That's
Apparently
Snoke
not.
M. Chunks.
Yeah.
Snokito.
the thing is, you can't
Snokito.
believe anything Kylo says and tells Rey.
That's true.
You can't believe it.
Well, that wasn't Kylo that said it. It
I'm
was
talking about his
Snoke.
parents, which is
the
what we had
parents.
just said.
Right. I mean,
Right.
no, yeah. I mean, that's still possible.
Nosotros llamamos Noquitos.
But look, the Skywalkers are all dead now. They've been made to not matter. Luke was at the end of the movie
Leia's still alive.
was just
Everybody
an old kook
forgot that Leia
died.
lived through this.
No, I remember, but she's not going to be in the next movie, right?
You don't know that.
We do. They said that she's not going to be in the next movie, and she's not going to, they're not going to
Because they do
CGI her and
everything
all
they
that
say.
stuff. I'm just telling you what's out there, man.
I
You
know.
guys can speculate all you want. I'm just telling you.
They also said we're
she's
going to
not
have
gonna
Solo
be,
in May.
She's
Oh,
not
wait.
heavily going to be in the movie.
gonna have
She
Solo
just
in May.
can't be.
Basically, we have no closure on Leia. Hopefully, we'll get closure on Luke. We don't have it right now. I mean, at this point, I'm so aggravated
Right.
Like, let me be very clear. I enjoyed watching the movie, and I'll enjoy watching more. It was so frenetic that there's going to be things I didn't even notice that I watch and notice the next few times, and I look forward to that. Because The Force Awakens was pretty much a limping to the end, and even though I liked it, every subsequent viewing, it got worse and worse because there was nothing more for the film to offer me because it was so paint by numbers. This film was all over the freaking place, so I look forward to discovering more things about it and stuff like that. But overall, right now, I'm just very pouty about the fact that as an audience, I feel like as a faithful audience and a faithful fan, I feel like I'm in an abusive relationship where the people creating the stuff don't give a flying fudge about what I want to see. Other than the fact that, we got to see Leia float like Bippity Boppity Boo style back into the ship from space, and a couple things like that, and a couple moments in the movie that were fun. The big important quote unquote things are just not important to them, and they think that I'm stupid for wanting to see them because the movie pretty much said it.
I'll give you that.
And I don't like that relationship.
We can turn to the lighter side of Star Wars. Mm-hmm. It was
porgtastic.
My second favorite scene with Poe, his crank call at the beginning.
I didn't. That was too much.
Okay. Well, so this touches on one of my biggest critiques in the film. I feel like this film was just way too, and this was so unexpected for me because I thought we were going to get a more serious tone with Rian Johnson, and his jokes were. I thought Force Awakens was ham-fisted.
Oh my gosh,
this is ham-fisted times 2, 3, 10. I don't know.
This movie leaned on the joke so hard. Like we were saying earlier, it tells a joke like, wipe that smug look off your face, 3PO, and now point the camera at 3PO and let it sit there for 15 or 20 seconds while everybody realizes, oh, wait, he's a droid. He can't have looks on his face. I'm in on it now. Oh, you movie. It's like everything is like the Big Bang Theory. They might as well, they have time after every joke to throw in a sweetened laugh track. It's just we sit there. There's no love for like quick-witted timing and jumping to the next thing. The racing from moment to moment. And I don't know. I'm going to get in too deep and I'm going to shoot my wad early here. Gross. But there's something about humor and dialogue. What we used to do is we used to have characters talking while they were doing something. Characters used to talk while they were refueling an X-Wing or loading up their money. Right. They used to talk while they were digging through droid parts. They used to talk while they were touring a facility. Now they just sit and stand and talk to each other, entire dialogue. It's a horrible writing and worse direction.
Except Poe, who...
Oscar Isaacs actually manages to make himself look busy even when he's not.
Well, he made a crank call
That's
on
a good
an attack run.
Well, yeah. So
he's doing stuff.
The crank call was a little too earthly for my taste.
I know.
Much like his opening line, because we did the same thing in Force Awakens with the, I don't know who talks first. You talk first, I talk first.
I like that was funny.
I laughed, but I didn't like I laughed when he did it, but I wasn't sure even then that I felt it was appropriate. And this time I knew it wasn't because it was sounded like he was trying to call Jake from State Farm. Yeah, I'm holding for Snow, or I'm holding for General Hux. Yeah, still holding for him. Can we patch the third, please? Yeah, I'm going to still hold. Yeah. No, I'm having a problem with my Dell Latitude 1138.
Here's the thing, man. I felt like even Empire Strikes Back, or even Rogue One for that matter, both of those movies took themselves serious, had, really good plot, whatnot, and they both had humor in them, but the humor was appropriate to the seriousness of the movies. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I still found Rogue One funny, and I still found Empire funny, but not ham-fistedly so.
No, and not lingering.
Yes,
lingering on the jokes. It's kind of like in those movies, if they were going to have Luke Skywalker milk a big fat beach creature nipple for milk, he wouldn't then pour it down his gullet and all over his beard and go at another character to really make sure it was nice and visceral. They'd have probably just moved the F on.
Yeah, okay. I'll give you that.
When I saw that, I was a little shocked.
I'm milking a big booby. You like this big monster booby? I'm milking it.
I don't like you. Get off my island.
I mean, we've talked about this. I mean, essentially what he was going for.
We've talked about this scene in particular quite a bit.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, we have.
But we talked about what Rian Johnson was attempting to do there. He was attempting to make Luke into what
curmudgeon
Yoda was at toward the beginning of Empire.
Yoda was eccentric. He was an eccentric little creature. Luke was a downright curmudgeon-y, angry old asshole.
Right. And there was the thing with Yoda is we came to that realization we came to that realization with Yoda that, when he broke character and was like, I can't teach him. And then he turned into the Jedi Master that you knew that he was. We never had that moment with Luke in this movie.
No. And that's the other thing. It may have been intentional, Howie. It may have been absolutely intentional. And in the opinion of, I don't know, me, it was a piss poor decision.
It was rough.
It was. I'm not saying it was. It again. All of these are all of these. It's exactly right. All it has to go through is a filtration system.
Yep.
The exact same thing. Every joke, every corny thing, every overstated scene, really he's milking a 4-boobed crotch creature. Okay, all of that would have been fine if it had just gone through a filter of self-control. Dial it back in.
Yeah.
You don't have to beat everybody over the face with everything.
I think that this movie in particular, for me, I talked about, I'm still trying to determine if this beats Force Awakens or doesn't beat Force Awakens in my lineup here. But had the humor been toned down, it would have absolutely been above Force Awakens, no question.
Yeah, probably.
It was just a little too. I was like, oh.
Some
really?
of it was for me. I think less than you guys, but I agree. Yeah, a lot of the stuff with Luke overboard. There's a lot of other stuff.
For me, it was
overboard.
every time any two characters spoke to each other, it was a "you see Timmy" moment. They might as well be sitting down on Danny Tanner's couch with some music playing in the background. There was literally nothing else going on but them talking. Here's some noticeable exceptions. Benicio del Toro was never in the moment. Not once. And his performance was the highlight of the entire thing that involved him because it served no purpose. But his performance was the highlight of it.
Yeah.
His ability to actually appear like his mind was elsewhere actually gave some brevity to the actions that he was taking.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know that we have enough mature actors on set to actually try to make that call in this giant franchise. They're just doing what they're told.
Right.
And, every time Carrie Fisher talks to Poe, it's a face-to-face, and we're gesturing with our chins because we're not actually doing anything. I mean, what happened to Leia following Han around the Falcon while he's trying to work on it and yelling at him? Some of the best scenes in the history of freaking cinema.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then him finally coming in and trying to actually be nice and appeal to her when she's working on something else.
Right.
Because somebody had the mindset, whether it be when the script was written or when Irving Kershner's sitting there planning out the scenes, to say these two are bad for each other, and that's why it's important that we root for them. And so we're going to have them keep each one of them. Every time they try, they're going to do it wrong. They're going to do it wrong. They're going to be interrupting the other person. They're going to be making a dire situation worse by yapping up something that doesn't help what's currently going on. Lando yelling, "It's not my fault. It's not my fault." While also running back to do something else. There was action and movement. There was, dare I say, faster, more intense. And that is something that The Force Awakens had a little bit of, and this movie had almost none of.
Okay, I'll give you that. What'd you think of old Hux's one-liner towards the end there?
I don't know. I stopped listening.
What was his one-liner?
I stopped listening to the Ginger Prince.
It's when Kylo ordered the gorilla ats to open fire on Luke, and he let it go entirely too long, and Hux looks at him and
he's like, "Do you think you got him?"
You got him.
You got him.
Indeed.
I was kind of proud of him, actually, a little bit.
Force pushed him into a wall.
Yeah, first trouble. Yeah, he got force pushed into a wall.
That was funny.
But yeah, I mean, I agree that the ham-fisted was quite a bit.
It was too over the top for me. That's the only thing. I mean, if you ask me what the one thing I would have changed about the film, that would be it. Just dial that back a little bit, and I think I would have been a lot more, I don't know, happy with my initial viewing, I guess.
Yeah, I think a lot of people soured at that initial scene with Poe in the crank call. Yeah. I loved it because Poe. Because it gave a lot more depth to who he is as a character, and it wasn't just he's just a cocky flyboy. Which is what Laura Dern's character and Leia both said they loved about him, but also hated.
I can even swallow that, but still, it still could have been dialed back just a little bit. He only had to do it like once, but I think they lingered just about 30 seconds too long on that joke.
He made a "your mom" joke.
Canon.
Yeah, canon.
Your mom jokes are now Star Wars canon.
I'm the happiest I've ever been right now.
We have a lot of nitpicky stuff to complain about here, but we should backtrack a little bit because earlier, Mike, you were going to talk about the whole Knights of Ren thing.
Okay.
Oh, that's right.
So
I'm sorry.
the Knights of Ren thing, which was different than what you were talking about, so I apologize.
Right.
Basically, what that in my mind does is it's an example of Rian Johnson deconstructing what JJ had done in his movie. Okay. So now here's the two things that, at least from my perspective, I know Howie disagrees, but are different. So in The Force Awakens, Rey has her Force dream and she sees Kylo Ren and the Knights of Ren masked up, already dark, and we see them burning, what we've now known is, a Jedi temple that Luke had established. And we see Luke and he puts his hand on R2 and all that stuff. And, it was, in my mind, pretty clear that, Rey, that Ren, had, turned to the dark side and created these Knights of Ren, and they came back and they destroyed the temple. Okay, now fast forward to, to Last Jedi, and the way it was depicted in Last Jedi was that, Luke comes into Kylo's dormitory, and basically I feel the dark side in him, so I'm going to ignite my lightsaber, and for a second I think I'm going to kill my nephew, which is, we can talk about that too. And then Kylo wakes up and defends himself and then runs out. He thinks Luke is either killed or knocked out, and he goes out and he burns down the temple. Okay. So to me, those are two very different things. And that was an example of, again, Rian Johnson deconstructing what, J.J. Abrams had done in a very distinct way. Now,
I call it a retcon.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, the deconstruct stuff is like throw the lightsaber over the shoulder, not answer the questions. Right. That's
a straight up retcon.
Yeah, what he did was a revisionist history.
Yeah.
Well,
with that
again, I don't know that I agree with that, because one, the Knights of Ren were never officially a thing. That was never said in The Force Awakens.
It's in the visual dictionary. It's definitely part of the.
And Snoke said it at one point.
Yeah, Snoke did refer to it.
Even
in
then,
Force Awakens.
Even then, it's not.
Luke came in. He said he had already turned dark in The Last Jedi, and he had a moment of weakness to want to kill him because he had already turned. That was the reason he decided to do that.
There's that.
Now, well, hold on. Let me finish. Now, he decided to do that and he thought better of it, right? But then the whole thing unfolds with Kylo feeling like, I need to defend myself. And then in the Last Jedi, he said he gathered his friends, slaughtered the rest of the ones there, and burned everything down.
Okay, so but did he do that at the moment that Luke attacked him, or did he go away and then come back at a later time?
Because that was never said in The Last Jedi. They never talked about it.
They depicted it as consecutive
events.
The
way I took it was he had already been turning dark. Something was already turning him dark, he could have easily.
Howie,
so if he was dark,
hold on. I'm gonna get a word in. I've been pretty quiet because I was out of the room. Howie, I agree with what you say in the sense that in the sense that what you're saying is exactly what The Last Jedi told you. It's exactly what it implied. It's exactly what it showed you. But what Mike is saying is that and I'm not saying you don't understand this, but I'm just saying it aloud. Mike is saying that it seems to run in conflict with what was shown through the visions in the Force Awakens. I agree with Mike. Even though the visions were visions and they were weird, it seemed to show something specific in that regard that was definitely and is now definitely not the case. And it's a curveball. Whether or not it was intentional, whether or not it was like totally an intentional undoing of something, or just they really felt they were just specifying in a more unique way, it's still, for a lot of the viewers, such as Mike, and in a lot of ways myself, a curveball that seems maybe could have been handled better. Because if the more people you alienate with something and draw them out, to me that's a mistake.
Maybe I need to go back and watch this, but I didn't not once think that it was in conflict. I thought the way it was depicted was he had already established this. It was already being established. And when he saw Luke trying to strike him down, then that's when he took action.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
Okay,
so there's definitely some confusion there.
And
do you think
go back and rewatch it?
Yeah.
So Kylo Ren, Ben, whatever, had already constructed his mask, and they already had their black robes and all that
They
stuff.
never said
at that moment.
they never said it didn't happen in The Last Jedi.
How about
I still disagree. To me,
That sounds like a stretch to
How is it a stretch when
I'm
they
trying to
don't say
explain.
one way?
Trying to explain. This to me, this is the same thing as in Return of the Jedi. Leia is saying that she has memories of her mother, and then in Return of the Revenge of the Sith, we see that Leia
She was an
infant that was just born.
Yeah.
To me, it's the exact same thing. That's what we saw with the two different versions of that story.
How about this? I can. Let me take a crack at retcon.
Wait. What you're going to say, is it offensive enough to somebody that we can yell at you about it?
Probably. You can twist it that way. Good. Okay, yeah. Buckle up.
Hit it.
The Force showed Rey the vision of Kylo Ren destroying the Jedi Temple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a feeling this was coming.
Okay, she got Luke's version and she got Kylo's version.
Yeah.
Neither of which had a mask. She didn't know who Kylo Ren was other than with the mask at that point when the Force showed her the
that's
vision.
how the Force showed it to her.
That's how the Force chose to show it to her she could put it in context.
Could be. Had she seen Kylo Ren at that point, though? She'd never seen Kylo Ren at that point.
No, she hadn't. But
nope.
To me, that when you have to get that deep into explaining how something happened,
there's a creational mistake.
Right.
It doesn't mean that it can't be logically acceptable.
Agreed.
It doesn't mean that the canon can't be shaped in a way that you can accept it as both head and real canon.
Right.
It just means that there's enough that just potentially doesn't work.
Okay, how about this? Well,
you can make it work by
simplify it further. Rey was shown 3 versions of the same story.
Yeah.
3 sides of a same story.
Mm-hmm.
So trying to get hung up on, did he have a mask? Did he not have a mask? Did he already have his friends or order for him? Did he not?
We're getting really headcanon-y at this point.
Yeah.
I think the simple fact is the movie showed us something and the next movie showed us something else.
Right.
Okay.
It's that
now,
simple.
whether or not those two something different can work together,
right.
We have not been shown evidence of that either.
Well, and if we don't get a clarification in EP9, we're just gonna have to retcon it.
Yep.
That's what
The
we do in
assumption
our
is
head.
the assumption is you're going to headcanon it because the creators don't care enough for you to actually have it.
Right.
Okay.
So whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like a head candidate for myself right there.
That what you were saying was like the only thing I was grappling with in my head was that it was part of the vision. So who knows? Force visions, that's craziness, right?
Right.
Anything's up in a Force vision. So that's where I've kind of taken myself mentally is just, is a thing.
Right.
Okay, so I gotta.
Also, by the way, you got flashbacks in Star Wars. You're welcome, Mike. This movie had flashbacks.
Did we have flashbacks?
What were you talking about? We had the story told by 2 different characters.
Yes, right. Okay. All right.
It's now official. You can have flashbacks in Star Wars. And yes, it was a little awkward. Not horribly so, but a little awkward.
Yeah, Luke looked just a little bit like...
Yeah, I'm not sure that they needed to make Luke look 10 years younger. I
don't know that they succeeded at making Luke look 10 years younger.
I mean, it looked like they just put some brown dye in his hair.
Yeah, and cut it. And that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like,
That's fine, whatever.
He looked a little crazier.
He did, somehow.
Younger Luke looked crazier than older Luke.
Well, in the one vision, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Kylo's version of it, yeah, he did.
That, to me, absolutely makes sense.
I'll give you that.
Because that's his impression.
Yeah, sure.
My uncle's trying to kill me.
Crazy.
But in Luke's vision,
he just looked sad.
He was almost ready to cry because
All right.
I can't believe I was making this
This
decision.
brings us into, we got to talk about Luke in this movie.
Who?
Luke.
Was he in there?
Want some green milk?
Okay, so Luke, I've said this many times, is my boyhood hero, man. Luke is the hero I grew up on. Okay,
That's the suckling sound.
You like that?
That's you when you were little.
All I wanted was one movie where I could see Luke unleashing the Force and just give me one scene.
So
where
he
just
did,
kicks
and then
butt.
went, fooled you.
Yeah, not really there.
Yeah.
Wasn't really happening. So yes, that was okay. The fact that he was projecting through space and time, cool as hell. I loved that.
Time, just space.
Okay,
He's not Doctor Who.
Well, it would be time.
it would be time if you're traveling through space, but
He's
yeah.
not. He's projecting through
Okay,
space.
whatever.
The Force is what binds all things
We don't
together.
need to. We
Space
don't
and
need to
time
get
are
into
linked, though.
I wasn't laughing at what you were saying. I was laughing at my thought back to when
Mike's banging his head on the microphone.
when we saw this
Okay.
movie.
Back to Luke.
Right. That's what I'm
Luke,
talking
I
about.
wanted him to be able to have one scene where he kicked butt. Back to what he was saying. The fact that he projected himself, cool. What I wanted though is that scene where he went out and faced, the walkers and all that stuff, to be him and faced, Kylo Ren. I wanted it to be him. I didn't want him to be his force projector.
In the movies, Jedi fight two things: in starfighters and other Jedi. There you go.
And AT-AT.
And some robots.
Cut it open and threw a grenade.
Dude, I'm just saying that scene could have been so much more problem. Because think about it, everything
He
about
wasn't a
that
Jedi
scene
yet.
was not real. Even the fact when he met up with Leia,
Yep.
that wasn't real either.
Yep.
And
But they all thought it was real. I mean, even to the physical. I'm
Oh,
just
yeah. Oh, yeah. He
illustrating
projected the physical.
that it was. He
I know
was
the gold dice and everything, which I'm sorry I thought was dumb.
Yeah, the fact that they had to make the gold dice fade afterward.
Yeah, dumb.
I mean, think about that. Think about that for a second. Let's say Luke just showed up and handed her the gold dice before he offed himself. And she's like, "Oh, it was so special that he brought it to me," and then it fades. And she's like, "Well, son of a damn it,
Right.
Luke!" Yeah, come on, man. He just shows up and once again fades away. Fooled you.
At that point, she could just go walk into the Falcon and get the real ones.
Yeah.
Then
I guess.
Unless he really
No,
took
because he
No,
did
took
take
them.
them.
He took
Oh,
them.
did he?
He did take them, but he also still had them, apparently.
Is there a reason why he couldn't leave that planet? Did I miss something?
I mean, his
Well, he
X-Wing
said
was
it.
underwater.
Well,
His
he
X-Wing was a
he
little
said it at
waterlogged.
the beginning. He was never going to leave that planet
Yeah, he didn't
because
want it.
he was in self-exile and he was not going to do it. He did not lie. He didn't leave the planet.
Yeah, he said, "I'm never going to leave it."
I want to see the comic where the fish-faced women trying to figure out what to do with the dice.
Yeah, they're just
what
sitting
do we
there.
do with these?
The turtle nuns.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, the chicks from the Dark Crystal.
yeah, the Dark Crystal turtle
Yeah.
nuns. Yeah, yeah, they're gonna find the gold dice and be like, "What the hell is this?" And they're just
doesn't
gonna
go
pitch them
here.
over their shoulder where the
Could have
lightsaber was.
done completely without those.
Oh, I don't know. That was the least offensive, or one of the least.
I was gonna say,
offensive
yeah.
to me.
I would say
Oh, I
one of
didn't
the
think-
lesser offensive
I
things.
didn't find them
Yeah.
offensive at all. I just thought they were there.
I didn't find them
I didn't think of
offensive.
bad or good. I just
Yeah,
was
no,
there.
I thought it was perfectly reasonable that
I hated
there was
all the foul language.
there was natives there that had that were taking care of the grounds on. That's fine.
But
they were- they were only-
almost murdered.
They were only used in scenes of comedic relief.
That's the other problem. Is that
If we had seen them
Agreed.
in a meaningful, like they're doing some sort of ceremony that they
Ugnaughts.
do, or
Yeah,
showing
agreed.
some sort of the religion that has brought them to have
Yeah,
this important role.
the Ugnaughts were there for like
A purpose,
more.
yeah, right.
They weren't there for more than just that scene. In fact, they were kind of scary in a couple scenes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but you're right. They just turned up to be punchlines.
Right. So
Yeah.
so I don't have any respect for them.
Nope.
But yet, if I think about what they are, this group of nuns that have devoted themselves to the task over who knows how many centuries or whatever, it
Yeah.
takes on a level of gravitas, and I'm like, oh, wow.
For me, it takes on a level of whatever.
Yeah.
It goes from to okay.
But to touch on what you were saying, Mike, when I was in the movie and I realized that wasn't Luke, I leaned over and touched Corey's shoulder and I said, "You had better get ready to hold Mike's hand."
Yep.
Yeah, because it when he started walking out the front doors. I'm like, oh, here it comes.
Yep.
It's on.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Jesus.
like
Thank you,
Mike
Jesus.
was reaching a status of Zen that was like nothing I'd ever seen. He was sitting Indian style and hovering above his chair,
Yeah, almost.
and just spewing green milk from his nipples at a geysoric rate. Yes, I made that word up just to
Geysoric, there
describe
you go.
Mike's green milk nipples squirting.
Right.
But he was so happy, and then it happened, and he was like, "Okay, yeah, okay, yeah,
I don't
No?
like this.
no."
So nothing
Wait,
that just
no?
happened was real.
No?
Okay.
He was
Well,
flexible in his force.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will have to admit, I would have preferred him to just wave his hands and flatten all those.
I would have liked to have
see,
been
that's what
something like that.
I would could have
prefer
been,
that.
man. It could have been that.
But I
moment.
wasn't disappointed that it. I mean, okay, yeah, I would have rather have seen that, but I don't think it made Luke any less.
No, what made Luke less was
Suicide?
See, I was accepting it until he disappeared, and I was like, no, they didn't just do that.
No, it's symbolism though.
But here's the question, Mike.
Maybe the
What
gold
was the
dice.
symbolism of
Maybe
it?
the gold
I felt
dice
like
became one with
I
the
felt
force.
like he knew he had to give of
gave up
himself
the
in this
ghost.
way to save these people.
Yeah,
it's-
before he offed himself.
Yeah.
One last good
It was-
deed
it was-
before
it
he
was-
swallows a force bullet.
Well, I think he gave everything of his life, his essence or whatever, in doing what he did.
He Anakin'd it. From the Yuuzhan Vong series, I'm sorry.
Oh, young Anakin.
Huh?
You meant young Anakin.
Yeah.
Mike, here's the question though. So
Howie must not have read that one.
your boyhood hero.
Good for Howie.
It was disappointing
for
to you
Howie.
that you didn't get to see him kick ass.
Right.
But that wasn't the most disappointing part of this
No.
portrayal of Luke for you, was it?
No, I mean, well, the crazy old man stuff was kind of goofy, and then just the fact that we come to find out that he was suicidal, because now there's talk about, we talked about what I thought was one of the sticks to JJ was at the very beginning of the film when Rey meets him, he's in his dress robes and whatnot, and then literally immediately after he meets Rey and throws the lightsaber down, he goes and changes.
Into a
Okay,
different
and
outfit.
Yes, into a different outfit. Now, I took that as a snub to JJ, and I'm going to dress him however the heck I want. But Corey pointed out
Garrick,
that
Garrick gets the credit.
this is
Yeah, I get credit.
Hey.
Yeah,
so. This
look at me.
is floating around the internet now, right? That was done because why?
Well, there's the graphic novels out or
Visual dictionary.
visual
The visual
dictionaries out
dictionary,
there, and his robes that he was wearing is described as the robes that a Jedi would wear at a last rite, like at the final rite of a Jedi.
So literally, what that's indicating then it would be that when Rey arrived and met him, he was literally in the process of
Jumping
killing
off
himself.
a cliff, yes.
maybe that's the assumption anyway.
And then he's wearing it at the end, so it's confirmed.
So, I mean, I don't know. I suppose you could argue that, he had such guilt over attacking his nephew, which is, we need to get back to that too.
Yeah.
And, his failure at restarting the Jedi and all that stuff. And even to the point that Yoda was like, yeah, you're not worthy enough. And I'm going to not let you know that Rey took the books and all that stuff.
His loss of faith in the entire Jedi
Right.
thing that he'd given
That's
his life
just,
to.
that's so antithetical to what, Luke in my mind ended up being, and he wasn't that way in Legends. In many ways,
No.
in the Legends, he was disappointing.
Yeah, he dragged his feet a lot. He was kind of like a worried pacifist. He was
Right.
afraid to take action.
But you know
He was
what?
a whiny farm boy?
But whenever he needed to, he always did.
yeah. When
So-
when it became clear, dude stepped up.
So instead, it's now canon that your boyhood hero is a homicidal/suicidal crybaby.
Yeah, that's
Almost nephew
that's
killer.
hard to swallow, man.
Slash
Yeah.
creepy uncle.
Yeah.
Slash
Hard to
creepy
swallow.
uncle.
And let's
Yeah.
get back. Let's get back to the
That's what happens when you get old.
drawing your lightsaber against your nephew. Again, we did see two different depictions of that. We heard Luke's version of the story, and we heard Kylo's version of the story. Of course, Kylo's is a little more, dark, and I had no choice, that kind of thing. Luke's is maybe not is less so, but when Luke comes in and describes it, and at first I thought he was just going to say, yeah, it flickered in my mind, and I think he even said those words that it for just a moment it flickered in my mind. But then I quelled it, and that was it. But they still showed him pull the lightsaber and ignite it.
I know.
And I was like, whoa.
Oh yeah. They
I mean,
took
to
him
me, it would have
dark.
been more powerful to say that in Kylo's mind, he saw him ignite the lightsaber. In Luke's mind, maybe it
never
was a
did.
flickering thought, but he never ignited a lightsaber. To me, that's more, that would have been more powerful.
Yeah.
But even in Luke's mind, if he pulls the lightsaber and ignites it, I'm like, no,
Yeah.
not Luke.
Yeah,
That's
no,
not
he
Luke.
straight up did that.
Yeah, once you turn the safety off the pistol, you're still kind of a bad guy.
A little bit.
Yeah.
So
It was just a moment of weakness.
Well, and what were we talking about earlier? I mean,
Homicidal weakness.
against his own father.
He wouldn't do
Against
it to
his
his
father.
dad.
He wouldn't do it to his dad, but he was going to do it to his
who
nephew.
had already slaughtered millions.
Yeah, right. And
Right.
he barely knew.
Yeah.
And, right. Yeah. But yeah, the nephew.
The
that
nephew
he's
who he'd known since
a baby.
birth, yeah.
He was going to ignite the lightsaber against him. Like, no, Ryan, you got that wrong.
I mean, we
dude.
can talk all about how he'd already sensed the dark in him and all that, and Snoke's grip was already supposed to take hold, even though that doesn't mean anything to us because Snoke is a red herring.
Right.
The problem is that we can identify with having children that we see grow up and we care about. We can't identify with sensing the dark side in someone. Like, that's not a human thing. And I'm not saying it has to be, but one is in direct conflict with the other. The one that we can identify with is going to win out in a lot of people, which is how do you just get that close to murdering your kin?
But
Right.
but that goes to Return of the Jedi. That's why Return of the Jedi was so great, because even though Anakin had done all these horrible, horrific things, Luke saw the best in him.
Palpatine,
right.
and Luke put the saber and closed it and tossed it. And said, "Do with me what you're going to
Yeah.
do.
I won't.
You're wrong."
he apparently makes a habit of in his life.
Tossing lightsabers.
See, it takes now that we're talking about this, it takes me to the throne room with the Emperor and that scene and where he does throw the lightsaber, and I'm a Jedi like my father before me. that was powerful.
Which was
man.
after he already tried to strike
When
down
you
the
hear that
Emperor.
stuff, yeah, exactly.
Out of anger.
Yes, exactly. He had come full circle and everything else. I mean, those scenes were so powerful, and now to just come out, he failed and he just wanted to kill himself.
Yeah,
He was
wanted
gonna
to
throw
go
himself
live
off
in
the cliff.
exile. And, yeah.
So before we all slit our wrists here, let's
Good movie.
lighten it up a
Good
little
movie.
bit.
I liked it.
The nominees for best use of a lightsaber in The Last Jedi are Luke Skywalker over the shoulder throw, Rey
10 out of 10.
throne room decaffing.
Oh, getting capped in the back of the head with the hilt of her lightsaber.
That was
No.
Kylo Ren.
No, where she drops the lightsaber.
You're
catches
really
it
killing
again.
my bit, dude. Thanks.
Oh,
That's
okay,
cool.
sorry.
That's all right.
5 out of 7.
Yeah. Kylo Ren, head skewer,
Mm-hmm.
or
pretty good.
Porgs almost turned it on.
Yeah.
I forgot
Yeah,
While looking at
basically two porgs doing their best impression of Obi-Wan and Luke from
Yes,
episode 4.
Right, that was
Yeah.
Do I look in
a
this
little
in?
funny.
Yeah.
That was funny because most people wouldn't know what that was a reference to.
No, but I like how the one's dancing up and down on the activator and the other
And
one's
he
just
was
looking
at
in
the
like,
hill, yeah. Right inside the death ray.
What's in here?
So it was almost Porg head skewer.
Yes, almost.
pork kebabs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chewie would have loved those.
Mm-hmm. Delicious. Absolutely delicious.
Let's talk about the music a little bit, man.
Love the music.
Bum, 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 bum.
You kind of touched on it earlier. You
Bum,
said
yeah,
that
it was my favorite scene. I
Right.
threw my hands in the air just to hear the music. Oh God, just to hear the OT music.
You know,
Yeah.
we heard a lot at the beginning of at the end of Force Awakens, at the beginning of the development of Last Jedi, that hey, John Williams is back and he's going to be scoring this thing, and then almost immediately after that, we hear nothing. So I'm questioning.
Mike has got a tinfoil hat conspiracy.
I
theory.
do, man. I don't know that he actually completed it. Maybe he started. Maybe he intended to do it.
Dude
But
is old AF.
Yeah, he's in his 80s.
Yeah.
So I would not be surprised, but I'm interested to kind of do some research on that and see if he actually completed that
Yeah,
score.
or if he did just some of it, and then some like apprentices or people that work for
Right.
him came in and used old stuff and kind of patched it all in.
Because there is a lot
Wonderfully!
of yes, there's a lot of reused themes in this movie.
This is
a lot.
my favorite Star Wars soundtrack since the original trilogy. Easily. I think.
Let's
I need to actually listen to the soundtrack itself. But
Yeah, I
in
do
the
too,
movie,
for sure.
it had a much bigger impact on me than any of the other films have had.
agreed.
I have another funny point to bring up.
What's that?
It's off topic as well of the music. Who knew that all you needed to do was put a BB unit in the cockpit of an AT-ST-ish
Yep.
to make them not lumbering, clumsy, can get taken down by sticks and rocks,
Nope, they
but
can
no,
run.
agile as a Lothcat on fire.
Dude, ATST
Yeah.
of the future.
Well, still.
That's
Right, 30 years into the future, buddy.
Nah.
Yeah.
They worked out the kinks.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I think it was just BB-8. Had to have been just that.
You know, he didn't have all that heavy armor to wear on it once it popped off.
That's true. That did all
Yeah.
get ripped off.
Yeah, there you
What
go.
do you guys think about Canto Bite and that whole sub arc?
Oh, we haven't talked about Canto Bite yet?
No.
I was kind of trying to forget it happened, actually.
Okay, so
Well, we got Benicio del Toro's character out of it, so
we did.
Sorta.
Which was overstated, but still a breath of fresh air somehow.
It's still a little confusing too because the whole reason to go to Canto Bite was to find this slicer guy.
Yeah.
That could break him into the
with the red flower on his lapel.
right. And so we see that person at the crap stables, but was
Apparently.
that really him?
Yeah.
And then they jail him, and then they find Benicio del Toro. But
I
was
kept
that
waiting
really
to
him?
see on his lapel was like a
Yes,
really pathetic,
something.
limp, like felt flower.
Right. That's what I
Instead of
kept
like the
looking
big,
to.
beautiful one, the ornate one that the dude was wearing, and they'd be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
now."
So I'm
we
taking it
understand.
that guy was the slicer, but turned him down, and that Benicio del Toro.
Well, they
was
never even
just,
got to him to ask him.
No, they got arrested before.
I was
they even
hoping
asked him.
there was going to be a twist where we realized that that rich guy had just taken his nice lapel when he got arrested or something.
Yeah,
like that.
something
Gotcha, yeah.
like that. But no, there
None
was
of that,
nothing. It was
man.
just they literally
Actually-
kept saying, "Well, we found an ace security dude," and I'm like, "Oh, but it's really the one. It's really one." No, apparently it's just not that. Apparently, Maz Kanata is full of crap, and that like lots of slicers can break into the one tracking unit on a dreadnought, since only one ship can track another ship through hyperspace
wasn't
at
the
a.
dreadnought.
Bleh.
Yes.
That
We
was
haven't
Snoke's-
talked about that yet.
By-
That
by
was
the way-
Snoke's Superstar Destroyer?
No, it was
By
a
the way,
dreadnought.
the Maz Kanata scene not needed at all.
Nope.
Didn't need that.
weird.
I like that she was in
Anyway.
it, but that was a bit much.
No, Snoke's ship wasn't a dreadnought.
Yeah.
Whatever the hell it was, I don't even care.
Yeah, it doesn't
I mean,
matter.
this whole
It was a bigger ship.
the whole subplot of them going to Cancel Bite was just to give Finn something to do. I mean, that was why it was done.
Yep, because
And-
ultimately it failed and ended up not mattering anyway.
Not really.
There
No.
was absolutely no purpose.
You got a kiss out of it.
You got to fight Phasma.
Ultimately.
Well, I mean, yeah.
But no, there was no constructive thing that happened out of it. There were incidental.
Right.
Oh,
there
no,
was
that whole story arc basically was mind diarrhea.
Yeah.
Well, that's the whole. We talked about this earlier too. I mean, some people, whenever they hear us saying this, they're going to be like, "Oh no," because remember the kids were there and they're slaves, and you realize how evil the First Order is and stuff.
right.
It's
Well,
a good thing they spoon fed that to us, because otherwise I'm just too stupid to figure it out.
I wouldn't have understood it unless I saw a kid force grab a broom.
Well, I didn't understand it because I apparently sniffled and blinked and missed it.
Oh, did you miss it? Okay.
Yeah, because the whole time afterward I was complaining. I thought the kid was going to do something forcey. And everybody goes, well, he grabbed the broom. He used the force to grab the broom. I went, he what now? Great direction, guys. Great direction, because I was watching for it and didn't see it.
It was understated to me, too, because I didn't realize until you guys said it, so you're not the only one.
I did. I flat out didn't see it.
You guys didn't see
Hey.
Snap either.
Okay,
Yeah, that's true. We did not see Snap.
I'm not even sure if I
Good
did.
old
I still haven't
Snacky
got to
Wexley.
finish my point. Okay, first off, in response to that, I like that the final scene was understated. But second off, what I was trying to say about Canto Bight with the slave kids is they have not done a good job in these first two movies at all convincing me that I see the First Order as a credible threat.
No, they're the
they-
Keystone Cops of the galaxy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on top of it, the Resistance now is what, 40 people, 20 people?
Yeah,
30-ish.
yeah,
Handful, they all fit on the
They fit
Falcon.
on Falcon.
yeah.
Unless you count all the people that they sent the distress signal out to that didn't show
That
up.
never showed up.
Well,
yeah.
no, the distress signal was an attempt to get.
They said it had been
rallying
received,
sympathizers.
but no one was answering.
Right. It was just out to other systems, and they hoped they would rally to their cause.
okay.
They weren't part of the resistance. They were hoping they would.
I think at one point they called them allies or friends to the resistance.
Right.
I see.
But yeah,
But yeah, I feel the same way. Is the First Order even a credible threat? Because I mean, dude, Empire.
I know.
The Republic. I mean, all those
It's
things.
literally what if Monty Python did Nazis?
Yeah.
The opening text scroll claims that they are basically getting ready to take over the entire galaxy and all the worlds,
Right.
and we never get any indication of that other than a few bumbling idiots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite First Order officer died in the first 20 minutes of the film. It was a guy flying the dreadnought that Poe was taking out the surface guns for, because 2 shots from the blasters of an X-wing will kill an entire turbo laser artillery.
Stop.
I shouldn't get that finite, but I shouldn't. We're a Star Wars podcast. I shouldn't pull my punches like I have been
No,
this whole time.
No,
right?
I'm saying stop
I
because
know.
I'm just like, yes. That
But
was
the
dumb.
dude who was the commander of that vessel, when Hux is like, launch starfighters, take over, and he's like, and he turns around in the red light, and you can tell the comms is cut, and he's like, we should have bloody launched them 5 bloody minutes ago. And I'm like, yes, that guy is cool. But that guy's
Agreed.
cool. Let's see more of that. Nope.
He did.
Nope, he did.
Spoiler.
Maybe we'll get a Paleon after all in Ep9.
Yeah, keep
Don't
hope
hold your
alive.
breath, buddy.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know.
I wanted to throw the
That was
user
Paleon.
poll out real quick on the Twitters, which I don't know your Twitter handles like.
Who is your real quick? Wait, you have a thought there?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Who else thought or is sure, because I'm not 100% sure anymore, that they saw Snap Wexley in this movie? I swear I saw him standing
I
in a
at one
transport.
point was looking for him because I realized we hadn't seen him, and I got excited,
Yeah.
and I never noticed him.
I saw Gareth Edwards.
Yeah.
He was in the trenches.
Wish I saw Sexy Wexley.
Yep.
Where was he?
There was Gareth Edwards was in the trenches.
Oh, there it is.
There you go.
I tweet your reply to Fly Casual 1138.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah. Hashtag I saw Snap.
Yep. So let us know if you saw Snap in the movie, because it's credited, and it's rumored that he may have died in one of the blown up transports.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
that's all
not
on
Snap.
blogs and stuff, though. It's none of it's
Yeah,
really
it's all
credible yet.
speculation at this point.
He's not credited on IMDb.
So yeah, we should ask listeners to go to Twitter so it can be credible.
There you
I'm
go.
just going to tell you right now that JJ and Greg are best buds.
Favorite Imperial officer in the original trilogy? because I don't want to get too far from the point we're talking about. Anybody?
Wait, what?
Favorite Imperial officer in the original trilogy?
Tarkin.
Tarkin's Veers.
Veers, Tarkin.
Yeah, probably Tarkin.
See, I was gonna go with Piet.
He did.
I know. His favorite officer in the original trilogy. I don't know how this is hard for you guys. Guess what? Most of them did.
No,
Captain Nita.
It's fun to see you do that.
Apology accepted, Captain Nita.
And the reason why I ask that is because I feel like all of these are pretty serious, straight characters. Your favorite Imperial officers are either the ones who are like very, very harsh but curt, or they were just simply curt. Like, I like Piet because he was curt, but he was also human.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He had emotion, and it was buried deep down. It was wonderful acting that barely portrayed any fear or unease at all at like 1% while Vader was doing his Vader shenanigans.
Right.
In the First Order, it's whining, screaming, and undercutting, and not even political backstabbery, but just literally like 7-year-old brother competition, whiny hateness. They seem stupid. They seem like they're incompetent people.
I just went through my mind. I'm like, okay, well, what First Order, or from the new trilogy, First Order. Well, what First Order?
That's
officer?
another
I can't
craft.
name any of them.
That's another craft of the original trilogy, though, and it's the same thing I used to say about the Cosby Show. But now you're not supposed to talk about the Cosby Show anymore. But I used to say the Cosby Show was funny not because of Heathcliff, but because of the other him reacting to the other characters.
Right.
I like these Imperial officers, and Vader was scary because even the people who reported to him were scared to death of him. When he did stuff, you saw them react. You saw their unease. You saw the fact that they lived their lives on pins and needles, and that made it bigger. And this movie, it's like, look at them doping it out, but they're right at the top. And meanwhile, you've just got the same one guy who goes, General, I saw this thing on the scans 30 times in the movie, and that's it.
Yeah, the other officers, I can name General Hux, Megalomaniac, and Phasma.
Whiny megalomaniac.
Whiny, yeah, fine.
Yeah, exactly.
And Phasma, and I don't know any other officers.
Yeah. Phasma dead. She fell in a pit.
Maybe.
She's not a Sith. She's not a Sith, but she fell in a pit.
She's with Han now.
I like Garrick's. they're duking it. They're hanging it. I like Garrick's thing, the idea that she would come back, but because she had the hole in her helmet, she'll now have an eye patch on the outside of her helmet.
I hope so.
Shows that she's tough.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Not on the inside, but on the outside.
It's like a pirate.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Just like I think we're going to see Greg or Grr in Ep9, I think we're going to see Phasma come back.
You think old Chrome Dome is coming back?
Yeah, because that's a JJ thing. And I think he's going to bring it right back. And
Finn called
he's
her.
going to flip Ryan right back off.
Finn called her Shredder. He called her Chrome Dome, which is the Ninja Turtle name for Shredder. And doesn't fit. I don't even like the term Buckethead, really.
Yeah.
I accept it. But Chrome Dome? Really?
Yeah. That's rough.
Come here, Chrome Dome.
Yep.
So we're running through all the bad stuff here, and eventually we can come back around. But
You've been taking notes.
We did all the.
Oh
good
no, we
excited.
started with the good stuff, buddy.
Yeah.
No, there's
That
more,
was
there's more good stuff than that.
I'm
So
excited
That was
to
our
hear your
favorite
notes.
scene.
let's get the whole running out of gas thing out of here.
You're putting that as good?
Okay,
No.
so
No,
what?
I'm saying
So
let's
we
get
got a
all the
capital
big-
ship, and they're being chased down, and somehow now they can track him in hyperspace, right? And so they're saying, okay, well, we
Wait.
can't jump back into hyperspace. All these are plot devices, right?
Just one
So-
ship can track them.
Only one at a time, Mike.
Right.
Only one
I
ship can
know,
track them
I
at a
know.
time because reasons.
Hey guys,
How are they
it's new
tracking him
tech.
again?
It's new tech.
They had a big triangle thing behind a locked door. That's how.
It was the flux capacitor.
Which
So-
you don't need to explain.
Don't you beg on the flux
science fiction,
capacitor, bro.
but-
Don't you beg on the flux
Okay,
capacitor.
so basically what Josh is talking about is what they're attempting to do, the First Order is they're going to just chase this ship through open space until it runs out of gas.
First off, because they don't have any other ship
So-
in the fleet that can,
Also- yeah.
they can warp. Or,
They could have just flown
saying
bombers
warp,
at it.
They didn't have bombers.
Apparently.
So
Just fighters.
Okay, so but the fact that a capital ship is going to run out of gas.
They literally say in the movie, well, we're bigger and slower. And Hux, it never occurs to him to go, wait. What about the bombers?
Yeah.
And we know they have
What
them
about the
because
TIE
we saw on
fighters? What
Canto
about-
Bight as Benicio del Toro and his ship is flipping through who's selling what to the First Order. Guess what's right there? Bombers.
It was.
So we know they still have bombers. You know,
But even the fact that the capital ship is just going to run out of gas.
It's got a gas
We were
tank.
talking about this earlier when we were outside. Is, geez, on
a-
Earth, we have
a
something
nuclear
called nuclear
submarine.
reactors that can be put in submarines, and they can literally...
the only reason they ever have to come up is for food. Nuclear subs can just go.
I might have actually accepted it if they'd said our fuel cells are depleted.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything
But to say we're going to run out of
Fuel.
the
Literally
needles
the
on
tank.
E,
Yeah.
and the little light came on the command station.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
we know that we have to take
remember-
the
And it
next
switched
possible exit.
from the direction that you were traveling to how many miles left until empty.
Right.
Remember, Gareth Edwards loved Battlestar Galactica, and I
Yeah.
saw a lot of Battlestar Galactica in this movie.
That's true. There is truth in that.
Not Garrett, Ryan, but yeah.
Ryan
yeah,
Johnson,
sorry.
Ryan Johnson.
I don't know why
And
I said that.
I do that all the time. I challenge viewers who question that to go see the movie again and think Battlestar. And there are a lot of little pieces that are much more Battlestar-ish.
I mean, the whole chase until
Yeah.
they run
Well,
out of
yes.
fuel.
And all of the
That's
attendant
that's the
Star
first
Destroyers.
4 hours of Battlestar.
No
Yeah.
one thought to maybe, I don't know, the other Star Destroyers we have, like jump one in front. Mm-hmm. Or a couple of three in front and make a blockade.
Nah, I was just chasing for 18 hours. It'll be fine.
They needed it. They needed it, Petrie. This was the plot. I mean, that's what
We
got
got to chase it until it runs out of gas because these gigantic monstra curving plasma torpedoes we're throwing at it will never take out its shield. So we're just going to keep shooting at them anyway.
Right.
And wait for them to run out of gas.
Why not?
It's okay,
Why
'cause
couldn't
the
they
First
just
Order,
mount
they-
a battering ram cannon
Yep, there you go.
on and shoot it down?
Yeah.
It's not just that it was this whole waiting game. It's that happened 3 times in the movie. So you have the prank call at the beginning where he's just trying to buy time. You have the entire escape where they're just trying to buy time till they can hatch this plan. And then you have the entire thing at the end where Luke is just trying to buy time so that they can escape through the fossil.
That's an astute observation. There was a lot of just buying time in this movie.
And if
Which
they
is
catch
a
them-
long- 2 hour and
it was a
20-minute
long
runtime.
movie, just
Right.
buying time.
There it is.
By the way, if there's one thing that we've learned in Star Wars lately is that if you ever want to escape a situation, you just follow.
No, if you're in a cave,
if you're in a cave and you want to escape the situation, you follow the wolf.
follow the wolf.
Follow the wolf.
Follow the wolves. We learned it from Rebels and we learned it from The Last Jedi. If there's no way out, if we have literally already said there is no other way out except this way, we have verified. If that's a problem and you have verified that there is absolutely no other way out, follow the wolves.
That's actually
Because then there's another way out.
That's actually chapter 3, paragraph 4 of the wooden Jedi Order book that Ray took.
Yeah.
If you can't find a way, follow the wolfuses.
That's right. If you can't join them, follow the wolves.
Chapter 2, throw the Siths into pits.
Yeah, that's right.
Then pits.
Chapter 3. Oh,
Yeah, exactly. I honestly, I can't believe that was both in the cartoon with the Force wolves that do,
It's a theme now.
and then also in this movie with the crispy crystal critters.
Yeah.
Yeah, follow the wolves.
Must have been,
Y'all's haters.
must have been the day that Filoni was hanging around on set.
It had to have been.
He was wearing his wolf shirt that day.
there's wolves howling at the moon.
And Ryan looked at him and said, "I got an idea."
I just blocked you guys talking about the big weapon to take down the big ass door, though.
No, you didn't.
Did we talk
Did we
about
cover that enough?
No, I don't think we covered it at all.
The First Order so bad at their jobs they landed it 150 yards back from where they were supposed to.
They had to
What do
save
we do?
fuel.
Do we take it off again? Nope, just drag it. Just drag it forward. Can it fire from here? No, drag it.
No, it's okay. We have plenty of fuel. We're moving it.
Yeah.
We're moving it.
Yeah, we have all the gas we need. Just drag it forward. Yep.
Do
like
we
like
talk
you
about,
said, like
do we
150
talk
yards.
I can't remember if we talked about this outside or if we talked about this here in the cast, but I think it was you, Petrie, that mentioned that, at one point Finn was going to sacrifice himself for the Resistance. He was gonna take
No,
his
it's me.
spear,
This is one of my biggest complaints of the movie.
and he was just gonna ram it right up that gun, and it was. I was like, oh man,
Oh man, it's a good thing. Even though his
Finn's
ship
gonna
is melting, he
sacrifice
isn't yet.
This is going to be
That's how
be
he
meaningful
pointed
because
that
we're
out.
going to take a main character
it.
and he's going to sacrifice himself, and then oh, his new girlfriend knocked him out of the way.
Yep.
She
I
was
crashed
like,
my
"No."
ship into your ship, almost killing both of us from love. I saved you by almost killing the both of us. This is good writing. Okay, bye-bye now.
Well, first,
Somebody get me a blanket.
again, they just had a movie where 2 previous times in the movie there were really powerful moments of people sacrificing their lives.
Yeah, right.
Okay, and then you get to that scene and Rose says, sacrificing your life is not the way that we'll win this battle. It's by saving the people that we love. Okay,
Yeah, I
well,
was like, what?
Silly. You just took a crap on your sister's grave.
Yeah. Right, word, man.
Yep.
Oh.
Oh.
I mean, I was fine. I was
post-fault,
fine
though.
with their little romantic, thing, if that's what you want to do with them. But I'm sorry, but that's the reason Rogue One was as powerful as it was, because of the sacrifice that all of them made on that planet. They knew it was going to be a one-way mission. Well, maybe they thought they could get off, and we as the audience thought they could get off. But that moment that the shuttle blew up, and everybody starts looking around, and you're like, we're not getting off this. I mean, that was powerful.
Yeah.
And Finn riding up to that gun and getting ready to go in. I was like, oh,
This
wow.
is I think everybody was like, holy crap, we didn't realize they were going to kill off one of the new ones.
Yeah.
Wow, this is huge. Nope. Nope.
Yeah.
Oh, apparently he was wearing a
Because he was
seatbelt.
He was in love.
Yeah.
Crash
I was
man.
almost ready to cry because I didn't want to see Finn go.
Yeah.
Garrick.
I was
know.
really okay
man.
with it.
No, I
Didn't
don't.
make
was
Garrick
upset
feel
when it
like
didn't
his
happen.
grandpa's funeral.
Yeah, me too.
But he's okay now. He's okay. Finn's okay, guys.
Yay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Even though he's walking around like like an old man in a nursing home, and his underpants and back to squirting out of him.
Oh, gosh.
Again, it was something that was just directed so awkwardly. It was like a Doctor Who episode. And I like Doctor Who, but it's a different genre. It's a different style, at least. And just like wander like, what do I do in the scene? Just act dazed. Can we give it some context? Can we have you know what I mean?
He just woke up and fell out of bed.
I know, but nobody's acknowledging the fact that the dude's squirting Bacta all over the floor.
Yeah, no one cares.
Nope, no one even cares.
Poe cares, and BB-8 cared.
I realize everybody was in a hurry because
What?
they're
BB-8?
evacing and all that.
I like when he's what?
Okay,
Finn
well,
naked
let's
in bag?
talk-
what are you talking about,
Let's
BB-8?
talk about this, man.
That
I
was
mean,
funny.
well,
I
first
didn't
off,
like that.
they didn't need the joke. The joke was not needed. The fact that he woke up all they needed in that scene was for him to wake up in that machine or something, and then maybe somebody there, taking care of him, and then cut away.
Yeah.
Think about Luke on Hoth in
Yep.
the back of the tank. We see him for a split second in the thing. They pull him out, and he's in bed.
Yep, perfect.
Perfect.
Perfection.
Yeah,
Instead, no, we need to have Finn wandering down the hall squirting
I
liquid
know.
because that's this is kind of a theme. This kind of a theme in the movie, squirting liquid.
What?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yep, Finn
No,
squirting
just-
liquid in the
just-
hall.
Also, just nipples.
Squirting green
and
milk.
boobs
Yeah, lots
in
of
general.
boobs in this movie because we had creatures with 4 boobs. And then we had the opera singer on Canto Bight as the creatures were running past going, "Whoa!" with her 6 cleavage breasts on display.
And then Kylo Ren's boobs, which
Yeah.
I was happy to see.
Oh, yeah. That was
Yeah.
He was ripped, baby.
Yeah, yeah.
It was large.
He
my
was
favorite.
he
Can I
was
change my favorite scene?
he was ripped like an old timey pugilist. You know what I mean? He had like that broad chest look, like he was going to grow a long curly mustache, saying, "I'll 2 arms, I'll fight
He
you."
looks like he has old man strength,
Yeah,
even
exactly.
though he's not old yet.
Yeah. Hey, dude's an ex-marine or whatever.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, big dude. He
Yeah,
doesn't look it
and-
because he's so tall.
And old Ray asked him to cover up because she was a little uncomfortable at the feeling she was having, just like Luke for Leia.
But her parents are paupers, Steve Petrie.
Oh, that's right. They said it.
They did.
Yeah.
They come from nothing. They're garbage. That was just him talking about his own parents, whom he resented because they have the same parents. Let's keep hoping, guys. Maybe in the next one they'll let us nerds be nerds. No.
Well, at the end of the day, man, I still love Rey and I still love Kylo Ren, and I'm still interested in seeing what they do with them. In
I
this
liked
last
them
chapter.
both. I liked them both before. I like Rey equally now. I like Kylo a little more. I like Finn a little more. I like Poe a lot more, but that is coming from a place of almost absence, right? But now I do like him. It's official. This is one of the things I wanted this movie to do.
Good.
And it did. I like Poe.
matter, yeah.
Now you can
Poe
read the
matter.
comic with us, right?
Nope, not happening. Never in a million
But
years.
it's got Snap in it.
Nope.
Snap.
All the more reason.
Yeah.
But so out of all that, that's great. However, offing Luke, that's a pretty big price to pay for that,
was
for
hard.
me.
That was hard to swallow.
And not actually, I didn't know if Leia was going to die or if she was going to leave, but neither happened, and I was kind of upset about.
Well, she
that.
kind of needs to leave because it's the whole theme of the movie was the old guard is gone, the new guard is taking over to.
Right.
Well, to me, it was clear, though, if this was the original vision for this movie, that the first one was going to be the Han movie, this one was going to be the Luke movie, and this 9 was supposed to be the Leia movie.
Yep.
And that's not happening.
Billy
now.
D, stay by the phone.
It's the Lando movie. Yes.
There was a lot of Leia in this movie, though.
There was quite a bit, even though she was, in a coma for 2/3 of it.
Right. I was both disappointed and pleased that I didn't get the line that I thought was. I actually heard the line in my head while watching the film and was getting ready to yell. And it was at the very end when they said, "What are we going to do now? There's nothing left. There's just, us 12 guys or girls left for the resistance." And Leia goes, "We have everything we need." Hope. Yes.
Yeah, I was waiting
heard
for
it
it
in
too.
my head.
I did too. I kept hearing Jin's voice. Rebellions are built on hope.
They are.
Right.
Yeah,
said
I
it.
kept hearing it, but it didn't happen. I was actually almost disappointed.
I was a little disappointed, but I was also happy.
Yeah, it was. I'm fine that they didn't, but I was almost like, I could have used that little tie-in. That would have been nice.
That would have been cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was Carrie Fisher's last line of the movie. It's like the last line of the movie was the Carrie CG Leia turning around and going, "Hope."
Right.
It's like we do have it. We have hope. So it would have been thematically and continuitous for her to say that in this film. Oh well.
What you
Missed
gonna do?
opportunities.
Yeah.
Well,
Did you guys see the ghost?
The ghost of what? Jin?
No, the ghost, the ship.
No.
Oh, it got blown up early. It ran out of gas.
Here's I do have to
Stalled
say
out.
one kind of overarching kind of observation about what I'm seeing with Force Awakens and Ep 8 and what's going to happen with Ep 9 is that I feel like Disney has Lucasfilm on such a breakneck schedule that the writing is suffering.
And the editing is suffering.
That writing,
I would agree.
well, the whole process.
Yeah,
I think, is
everything.
suffering.
Writing, directing,
I mean,
editing, everything.
I really feel like they, especially with writing, sometimes you have to just get it out there
and let it permeate, man.
Permeate, that people breathe on
It's like
it.
you know what you want to say, so you throw it out there.
Right.
But then you gotta let the dust settle. You gotta let it fall into a shape, and
Right.
it's not happening.
No.
It's just people delivering lines in front of a camera. There's no context. There's no grounding.
I mean, one of the reasons I feel like that the original trilogies were so good is because Lucas there was a lot of ideas that he had in that first draft that weren't used that ended up being the framework for, Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. And he worked on that through the 70s. You know what I mean? So there was a lot of him and other people drafts and scripts and rewrite and this
then,
and that.
And then even after it was shot, him and his wife fighting over, because she did the editing, fighting over how to properly edit
Right.
and put it together in a way that would actually appeal and make
So
sense to people.
Time was really on his side during that. We saw, a difference with the prequels, but still he was on more of a 3 to 4 year schedule for releases and stuff, but I think Disney, to me, it's too bad that they've chosen to go this way. I
feel like
understand
we're
why
getting-
they've done it, but
We're getting big budget TV specials.
yeah.
Is what it feels like.
Well, I mean,
in
to
terms
me,
of how the scenes are shot and delivered and how the dialogue is read.
these movies are just no different than any other blockbuster out there. There's nothing really special about them anymore.
No.
I hate to say it, but
Rogue One was still pretty awesome.
it was pretty awesome. But that story, I think, feels like it had a little bit of time to permeate,
Maybe.
and settle, and
And they brought in a team to clean it up too.
yeah, right,
Maybe
Right.
that helps.
yeah. I don't know, but I don't know. These Force Awakens, and let's just put it this way: Force Awakens and Last Jedi. I mean, I told you they're in the middle of my pack for how I like it, especially this film, because I really if anybody, if you go back and listen to our past cast, I was a big Rian Johnson apologist. I really felt like he was going to come in here and do something special.
Yeah.
That he was going to do something that was thought provoking and different.
And and God hope he has the time to do such a thing with the new trilogy.
No, but think of that. Does that give you a little bit of hope? The fact that he's been told he gets a trilogy, so there's no way he's not already thinking about it right now.
Well, of course he is.
And
He's already made the pitch.
We're a few years out from when he's going to actually start making those movies.
Well, we'll see. I don't know. I'm not as thrilled about it now after I've seen the movie. But the disappointment for me on this film was that it wasn't fun, and that I don't like the movie. I do. It's the disappointment for me is that it doesn't rank in the top 3 to 5. That it's in the middle to lower.
It's still
half.
basically all it's doing is being better than the prequels, which
Right.
doesn't feel like a very high bar.
No, no, it doesn't.
Even better than Phantom Menace.
The best of the prequels, clearly.
Hey, I told you Phantom Menace is not at the bottom of my list. So
I know a lot of people. It's the second bottom.
I don't know. I
Next to
thought
bottom.
thematically wise, there's 2 or 3 major themes. The balance of the light and dark, and then
But
there was
they're
a
not.
coming of age story, and then there was a what is a legend? What is a symbol? So I think that what they were trying to go for was pretty good. I thought.
I agree.
I mean, the whole thing with Luke projecting himself, as I tried to mention earlier, but everyone kept interrupting me. You assholes. But
Welcome to the room.
It was like it was symbolism. He was this legend. He kind of appeared like he used to look. So he was this symbol to the rebellion, and it kind of told us, okay, yeah, symbols are good, but when you get down to it, they're not a real thing. They're just something you kind of aspire to. So him projecting himself like that,
Yeah,
I think
a symbol doesn't. Yeah,
what Rian Johnson was saying. Okay, yeah, they can be inspiring, but it's not really a thing unless you do something afterwards.
So you're
unless
saying
you aspire to and keep trying.
the special edition soundtrack during that scene will have Bonnie Raitt singing "Let's Give Them Something to Talk About." That's what you're
I
saying.
hope so.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think the themes were great. All the characters grew. I'm just trying to inject some positivity.
You know
into
what?
Your
But
assholeness.
To your credit, oh yeah, because you were just ape shit over this movie when it came out.
Yeah, I know. I agree with most of what everyone was saying, but
It's still
I
depressing.
think we've been way too harsh on this movie that we all like. I mean, it's not the best Star Wars, but it's a good one.
I was thoroughly entertained, and let me make a controversial statement here.
No.
I like Kylo Ren better than Darth Vader.
I don't even know how to address you with that. That's not even a conversation.
There's a door over there. You can.
That's not a controversy, Josh. That's just what they write on the.
Can I defend myself?
No.
You are allowed to have an opinion, just as like Corey
You
and
can
everybody
say that
else
you
is
like
allowed to
him-
have an opinion.
you can say
and
that you like him.
everybody else.
You can say that you like him
And I
better
like-
than Anakin, but not Vader.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, no, I'll
no,
accept
but
that.
that's part of my issue is that I take that character as an entirety. Witnessing him even in the original trilogy, he was badass and awesome. It was the highlight of Rogue One for me, which was I love that movie, was seeing him be total badass. So so Vader is still the most badass dude in the galaxy ever. I don't like him as much as Kylo Ren just because I actually feel that I can connect more with Kylo Ren.
As a troubled teen?
No, mainly from like a physique standpoint.
Got me.
Got that
But
old-timey
no, I didn't. Even in the Force Awakens, I wasn't in the crowd who was like, oh, he's just a whiny bitch. Because to me, he was never Darth Vader. He was never supposed to be Darth Vader. I didn't need him to be Darth Vader. So I was fine with his development, the human side. I liked getting the character development that took place with the scene with Luke, where we realize what's going on. I loved every scene with him arguing with Rey, making good arguments, I believe, saying, let the past die, kill the past, join me. We can rule, we can move on. I like whenever he freaks out and punches, whenever he's going insane and angry and mad like a little kid. So
I don't like that.
I'm not backing it all up, but
I'll show you stupid helmet.
I really like this character. So once this trilogy ends, we'll revisit this and see whether I.
Has anybody on this podcast ever not liked Kylo Ren? I know there's a lot of bagging on him outside of this podcast, but I don't think we've ever really bagged on him that much.
He's not my favorite. I don't hate him.
I like him.
I think some of the temper tantrums can be a little over the top.
Right. Well,
that I don't like.
There's nothing in these two films that, to me, could not have been dialed back a little bit.
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
We did learn, and I don't remember who said it the other day. We did learn in this film that he, like his grandfather before him, thought spinning was a good move.
That's true. We saw that. He did. He did a good move.
Yeah.
Yep. Following in Grandpa's
just shows you, his
footsteps.
His grandfather's always with him.
To Garrick's point, I also agree that this movie attempted to do a lot more than I think virtually any other Star Wars movie has done in terms of philosophical or spiritual themes.
Yeah, they bit off more than they could chew.
That is what I fear. I've said, we heard in rumors before that the movie's going to be kind of frenetic and jumping around from scene to scene. And I said, good. I like that. My favorite books do that too. I have the attention span of a 4-year-old apparently, but I did enjoy that aspect of this film. But even I felt like it was happening a bit much, and that's saying something for me. Like I was like, okay, let's pump the brakes. We're getting like 30-second vignettes, right? And I think part of those more powerful, more in-depth themes that they were exploring ended up getting kind of bulldozed by the speed that everything was having to move, even at 220 minutes.
I don't mind jumping around, like you said.
Yeah.
When there's resolution at some point.
Yeah, like when you reach a breaking point. A breaking point doesn't necessarily just mean someone finished a sentence. Yeah. But in this movie, it seemed like there wasn't that many more qualities to go, okay, next scene. So, yeah, having said that, we're going a little long here, so we're going to want to wrap this up soon. Bottom line is we're getting together to beef about the movie because you know what? After Force Awakens, we came in and we glowered and we glowered and we glowered. And after time, we kind of settled down. That's not happening with this movie. In fact, going into the movie, I kept saying, it's weird how normal this is now. It's weird how normal this is. There's only a few people dressed up. The line wasn't that long. Our cinema on opening night, 8:00 show was not even half full.
No.
Yeah. And that's a result of having, doing away with the midnight only shows,
Well, but it's also, I think it's the breakneck speed, man. I mean, we're getting a Star Wars movie every year now. We're just saturated with it. We talked about this way before The Force Awakens even came out back in 2014. Mm-hmm. It's like, are we going to get over saturation? And I think we're there, man.
I think if the quality came with it, it'd be okay. Because guess what? Rogue One didn't do amazing opening night stuff either, but it kept going because it was such a good movie, word of mouth, right? But let's talk about that. Last night was the preview showings. It was Thursday night. We were recording this on the release day of The Last Jedi. Last night was the preview shows. After we saw that show, we're walking out, and it's late at night, 11 o'clock or whatever. We're walking out, and I opened up Rotten Tomatoes, where the critics have been virtue signaling the flag
93%
at 93%. Now, mind you, that's 93%, not 93%. Everybody's saying it's a 93% good movie.
That's critics.
That's 93% of critics saying it was better than bad, meaning it's positive. It's a positive review. So they can say it's got all these problems just like us, but overall it's a positive review. And really, if we had to sit down and write an essay, we would balance ourselves out better than just getting all of our fanboy whiny stuff out like we are now. I think kind of all of us agree that we enjoyed the film.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we would be part of that 93%. We would count as that. But here's the thing. The audience score on the preview night was 63%. Today, on opening day, technically, it's now at 56%.
Oh, wow. That's a big hit.
Garrick showed me that earlier, and I had looked last night. And so over the course of this weekend, and by the time people are listening to this, it may be even lower. So if you're hurt about hearing all these criticisms, know that this kind of stuff is bugging a lot of fans.
Yeah. I got to tell you, too, I mean, you're talking about macro numbers. I've been getting steady stream of texts all day. Yeah. And they've generally been I'm disappointed. I mean, that's the general consensus that I'm getting from just the casual fan.
And Toby, who couldn't be here tonight, but loved it.
It's weird to me because we're in this weird position where the casual fan who usually could see something and be like, I like Force Awakens, pretty good. Right. And whereas we were going ape over the Force Awakens, and then we had to circle back around, right? Well, in this case, I saw a movie, and in my mind, it was pretty good. Why wasn't it a lot better? Yeah. Oh, these 100 reasons. You know what I mean? because overall I enjoyed it. So why do I feel so conflicted? And that's what's generating all this analysis. And a lot of people aren't very analytical, and a lot of people really aren't comfortable with critique. And if you've made it this far, despite that, just know that all of this is coming from a place of caring. It's because we do enjoy this and it matters a lot to us. We're not just butthurt fanboys.
Butthurt.
I mean, a lot of my complaints about this movie could be my complaints about virtually any blockbuster movie that comes out nowadays.
Most nowadays.
Yeah. I actually have more a problem with my generation in Hollywood as filmmakers than I do with the films themselves. And so there's a lot of different things coming from a lot of different points of view, Star Wars fans, movie fans, things like that all fold into this because we're looking at it so hard because we love it. You know, when a kid is acting up and he's a rebellious teen and he's getting into marginal trouble here and there, you know, a little bit of trouble at school, a little bit of trouble with the law at a party or something, a little bit of trouble for vandalism, whatever. The only people who see everything that kid does wrong are the people who love him the most, his parents. In this narrative that I'm telling, you know, they're the people who have to, the people who are the most frustrated are the people who love him the most. And try to remember that when you're hearing these things. And if you're at the office and someone is complaining about the film or something like that, maybe, just maybe it is coming from a place of love. And yeah, I'm talking from somebody who's got a lot of critiques. Obviously, I'm swayed in that regard. But never mistake it for hatred. Never mistake it for people who are just negative all the time. That's not where it comes from. What it comes from is a hope for something better. I'm going to tell you right now, rebellions are built on freaking hope. My God.
Are they?
Word. I dropped my mic, but it's Garrick's.
Don't drop my mic, dude.
Don't want to piss him
Pay
off.
good money for that.
We're gonna round robin some parting shots.
All right, why don't we go ahead, Garrick? If you've depleted all of your energy,
I'm almost there. Hold on.
Okay, Mike.
Have a good night. See you on the flip side.
On the flippity flip.
Yeah.
Howie.
Ditto.
I meant parting shots about the movie. But
I know.
That's
They're doing their closers.
all right, parting shot about the movie will be R.I.P. Admiral Akbar.
Yep.
I pour out a 40 on the beach for you.
Mm-hmm.
A 40 of salt water.
Yeah.
Because he's a fish.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He's like Squidward, but red.
That.
Yeah.
Squidward.
It's a trap.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is that what Squidward sounds like?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. He sounds like.
Are you done harvesting your strawberries?
Yeah.
already?
Hey, I like the movie. It's all right.
Cool.
Josh, anything deeper to add?
Double shot here. One parting shot with R.I.P. Akbar that we haven't really addressed is R.I.P. Snoke and how we never really knew anything about him.
Yeah.
All we can hope for is that
character.
JJ, I mean, since he was a JJ creation, that JJ goes back and gives some exposition.
I want something more. I want JJ to go, you know what? I don't care, so that someone can write a novel in a week's time and get it published so I can get some freaking answers.
Yeah.
Thankfully, Snoke
So long,
only got
Snoke,
out
we
of
hardly
off
knew
of his
ye.
throne once.
He's not dead.
Because the
But
CGI
anyway.
was rough. But okay, so
it
It was. It really was.
I enjoyed this movie. I was thoroughly entertained by this movie. And then whenever I left, I enjoyed it a lot, but I didn't have a strong desire to go see it again.
Yeah.
And I was left with a lot of questions that weren't exciting questions to see answered. There were a lot of questions that were like, well, why in the world did they make that decision?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was a good Star Wars movie. It's Star Wars. I enjoyed it. I will see it again. I don't know that I will actually see it again in theaters unless my wife wants to go see it with me.
I was telling you guys earlier about probably the only reason I'll go back is if my kids want to see it.
Yep.
But part of that is an intentional decision.
That's different for me. Mm-hmm. That'll be the first time that's happened.
Mm-hmm.
Part of that is me trying to tell Disney that I want them to take a little bit more care with these properties and not have them written before they start and just throw a different director at each one and just hope that something good happens.
Yeah. Yep. I guess my parting shot would be I like Godfather Part 3. I will eviscerate it, starting with Sofia Coppola's most wooden performance of any female or male actor of all time.
I love my cousin. What? What's wrong?
Well, I like my cousin. I have
Dad, I
no
love
facial
you too,
expressions. Daddy put me in a movie. I really wish my cousin Nick would quit calling me and breathing heavily into the phone. Okay, I'm writing exposition into that maybe might not be there. But I like that movie. I have almost nothing positive to say about it because anything positive I could say about that movie was better in The Godfather Part 2 and better in The Godfather Part 1. So if you want to know what's good about The Godfather Part 3, see those films. If you want to know what's bad about The Godfather Part 3, watch The Godfather Part 3. But I still like it. Is it as good as the others? Not even most, but I will defend it because it did have a lot of those good qualities. I will treat this movie the exact same way, I believe. And I looked forward to seeing it more times because it was so fast and frantic that I can't wait to pick up on additional details. Because even though there are so many little butthurt things in it, I still want to eat as much as I can get.
Yeah.
And I will hope to use my little movie pass card to see this movie again soon to try to get some freaking value out of that thing.
Hashtag I saw Snap.
Yep. Now I'm going to go look for Snap, which is the worst thing for me to go into a movie for.
That's another reason to go back right there.
Yeah. Find the Snap.
Find the Snap.
Yeah.
It's like Waldo.
Yeah, he is.
A really, really large Waldo.
A large orange Waldo.
It's hard to find.
So anyway, that's where it's at, and I think it's time to tie it up. Gentlemen,
we hope you enjoyed this special edition of Fly Casual. If you haven't already, please subscribe and rate us at iTunes, Stitcher, and all your favorite podcast locations. It is important that you rate us so that we can reach more and more people. As always, be sure to check out the show notes at betterkind.com. There are also many, many ways to join in on the conversation. Follow us on Twitter at FlyCasual1138. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/FlyCasualPodcast. We are also now on YouTube, so please take a moment right now to subscribe and ding the bell for updates. We are also now on Discord as well. Lots of opportunities to chime in. Reach out and say hi. Talk to you soon.